What up, everybody? We are live. It's going to be a special one this weekend. I managed to get one of the legends of our podcast to join us. Right now, he's on mute because I'm waiting for one of our ads to finish. There we go. Legends of our podcast. There we go. See, I knew that was going to happen. We were going to get double audio. We have JawzD with us.
Ahoy, hoy.
And it's going to be a good one because so much stuff was revealed over the weekend. There was a lot of cool stuff from Hasbro. The Fan First Friday didn't disappoint. They definitely revealed way more stuff than what we expected. I wanted to have JawzD on it just because like Jazz was revealed and we've always talked about we've always talked about
it finally happened.
Yeah.
You know what's even funnier is that Jazz is revealed with another Hot Rod Rodimus, another one.
Well, it was together too. I love that, you know. Well,
yeah, that was really cool. But I mean, like for you, it's just another one. Another one.
You know,
just DJ Khaled over here. Another one.
Another one. You know what? It was one of those things that, I mean, in the case of Jazz, we do get Jazz stuff, but it's always like on the side. Like they'll be like, oh, here's a Cyberverse Jazz toy, just, you know, like a one step just to keep it alive. Or here's like a tiny turbo changer Jazz. Like they'll always do that. But to be fair, I mean, there was a time where there was no Hot Rod stuff and there was Jazz stuff. So it's kind of just always how it's been with trademarking. I mean, we've talked about it with Aaron Archer in the past and how that works and everything. So you know what? I want to talk about it here also because see, Anthony brought up here Jazz and 14. Me and JawzD have talked about this. You know, like guys, you need to understand something. Like, and it's not only just with JawzD, with a bunch of people. You have to understand. The number 14 and Jazz has been a part of that character long before the crazy people on Twitter started just looking for trouble. You know, look, you could find something dubious in everything. You know what I mean? Like there's always something you could find, and unfortunately the individuals that like flagged that and went, "Oh, Jazz is 14," those same individuals unfortunately sometimes are associated with looking for trouble and stuff like that. But here's a spoiler. You know, Jazz, his old car design, the old, you know, Porsche, you know, turbo, what is it, the 538, you know, Le Mans, like that toy, when it was a car robot Diaclone, was number 14. You know, like the car robot Diaclone line from the late 70s, early 80s were all numbered. And what a surprise, the Jazz one, which was called Porsche Robo, was number 14. And then you fast forward to the 2007 movie when Jazz was in that movie, and in Japan they number all their stuff. So there was like, because each transformer on the Autobot side had MA dash and then a number. So like it was movie Autobot, whatever. So Jazz, what a surprise, guess what number he was? 14. And that was 2007, you know? And then you go to the Transformer Mobile Legends game, which doesn't exist anymore. Amazing art, and Jazz was an epic. It was an amazing game. I wish that art was in an art book because Marcelo did amazing work with that. And in the end of the day, Jazz was an epic rare in that game. And what was his card number? 14. So it's like, and then when you get and Aaron Archer's with us today.
Hey, what's up, Aaron?
And then when
I wanted to give a shout out to someone that just tweeted this at me, OGC, and oh boy, a bunch of numbers. They said maybe the number 4 is just bad. It's just bad luck in Asia. So
yeah, it is.
Well, that's the one of the bigger things that just kind of.
But it also, like I talked about in my segment, there's also the whole licensing issue too, which is because, and this is before even the Jazz toy, when they did Earthrise Wheeljack. And he turns into that Lancia, and it has those Lancia colors and everything. They couldn't put Wheeljack's number on it because they made sure that Wheeljack's alt mode was just not completely a Lancia. And as long as you don't put those numbers on it, which are associated with that specific Lancia, you don't have Lancia knocking on your door going, "Hey, Hasbro, we saw what you did there, and we want a piece of the pie," you know? Like you didn't pay a licensing or trademarking fee there. And it's just like, and then when you go to like even Smokescreen, and I keep forgetting the name of the company that those colors are. It's like Electronica or something, which was what Datsun used back in the day in the World Rally. Like that was their sponsor. And so Smokescreen's number on his toy is 38, associated with that Electronica sponsor from the World Rally, and I think it was like 1981 or 1980. And Hasbro did this nice looking Datsun, didn't put the 38 on it for the Earthrise, put a number 80. So it's the same thing too. It's just because it's Jazz, and they're like, well, let's use 14 because of his Diaclone background, and that's it. That's it. You know, and the truth is, like, they not only could they not use 4, they couldn't use 1, they couldn't use 41, they couldn't use 69, giggity. You know, there was a certain numbers that they couldn't use because they were associated with, like, you have to understand when you type Porsche Turbo 938 in Google Images, that Jazz is going to come up. That's a very...
It'll eventually come up. I was actually like digging for a while.
It's a very famous
like you'll get
car.
A lot of other numbers, but yeah, but like that one will eventually come up, and you'll get it in like die-cast cars and stuff like that. But it's weird. It's really, really weird. Like I was hoping to find like a little bit more information on that particular car and the drivers that were associated with Le Mans, but like for whatever reason it just does. It's not as an easy information just to come by. But I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong that like I didn't look hard enough or type in the right combination of words into Google. But yeah, there's I mean, it kind of stinks, but I mean, understandably that you don't want to deal with Martini Racing and Porsche. But like Porsche and Martini Racing are then that color scheme and that like layout of the logos and stuff is definitely associated with them. And not to mention, like, you could always go third-party stickers.
And not to mention, in the same way like Exhaust was based off of the Marlboro's, cigarette company. They made sure to change Exhaust's color layout so that it doesn't look like the Marlboro. Same thing, they changed Jazz's color layout so it doesn't look like Martini, an alcohol company. Granted, it's Martini Racing, but Martini is the alcohol company that is
the vermouth.
That's exactly. So there's again, people need to.
But that is a famous trademark, and they would definitely want their cut.
Oh, of course they would. Of course. Look.
And that's a very much a legacy thing too. So I'm pretty sure they're making money off of like keeping that alive and everything.
And it's not only that. Like when you look at NASCAR, Formula One, licensing, sponsors, and stickers are all the name of the game. Millions of dollars are made through all of that kind of stuff. And for like Hasbro to just put some stuff on it and get away with it easy, come on, it's not going to happen. So there's a lot of things going on with that. But I mean for
me, I'm just happy that it looks like that Porsche. I mean, that's the thing that we've been trying to get to for the longest time, and I hope that the masterpiece is still around. That remember like years ago they had the silhouette of the masterpiece. I think around the same time they were showing off the silhouette of Hound, or they were showing off the prototype of Hound.
Well,
so I'm this is a good step in the right in a good direction of getting Jazz to look like he did in the cartoon. Again, I'm more to get the mold. I'm looking forward to getting the mold than the deco.
Well, it's also something that I think we were reminded with this, that when Fliro Deary took that 1984 Autobot toy, which is a 1-for-1, reenactment of the actual car, and then Fliro Deary took that design, got rid of Jazz's wings for the robot mode, but even the car mode, he cleans it up, he makes it more simple, and if you copy how it looks in the show, it makes it less Porsche-like. And as a result, then it makes it doable for Hasbro to do it. If you do a masterpiece and you do the same thing, where it's funny because when you look at the first masterpiece Bumblebee, it's very much trying to be like a 1-for-1 legitimate Volkswagen Beetle. Why is that a tongue twister for me? But when you look at the second version of Bumblebee, it's now more like the Chrono Q squished Bumblebee Beetle. So, like, I think that that's kind of what's going on here, too. Oh, by the way, guys, if you have questions, just keep asking them. We're going to get to questions later tonight, too, and stuff. We also have a giveaway from Symbiote Studios and Hasbro and stuff, so we're going to do that all later today, too, so stick around for that.
Please do.
Yeah, it's just we have so much to discuss this weekend. It's just, man, it's I just wanted to cover that because it was such a hot button topic, and so many people were bringing me, like, what do you think about this? What is this? Like, what is the 14? Because, it's people, when they see numbers on Transformers, it's fan wank kind of stuff, and that's the kind of stuff I usually pick up on right away. And the second I saw it, there was, like, right away 2 things popped in my head. Right away the second I saw it. I was just like, okay, like, it's pretty obvious what they're trying to do here, and it's not dubious. Granted, what happened before with Power of the Primes? That was ill intent. And it was funny. Yeah. It's funny too if you go back on Twitter and you could actually find someone contact me going, Protoman, what do you think of the the deco on Power of the Primes? And here's me going like, what the hell is MAGA? Like, it was me, literally, because I didn't know. I'm Canadian. Like, I don't know. I'm like, what is, and then, like, people are like, how do you not know what that is? I'm like, poutine and hockey. I don't know. I don't care. Like, it's not my thing. I don't follow politics, really. I just enjoy life, especially American politics, so it's something that, when this happened and it was, again, people showing it to me and going like, hey, what do you think of this? I'm just going like, man, like, I don't really think it is what you think it is. I think whoever did that the first time was weeded out. And then afterwards, like, it's just pure coincidence that, I think it's just people looking at a number and trying, like, what if it was 13? Oh, is Jazz bad luck? Oh, is trying to say that's bad? It's like, it's something where, I would, honestly, if it was me, and knowing, like, hindsight, knowing the association with that, then I would have just made him number 8, because 8 is Jazz's Cybertron number from when the Transformers were brought over back to Japan. All these Cybertronians have associated numbers. Like, Hot Rod is C78, so, like, Jazz was C08. So, maybe that. And then people would be like, well, what is 8? Is 8 a bad number? Is that the number from Herbie the Love Bug? It's, I don't know. Anyway, Herbie the Love Bug was 4 and 3, which made Ocho, which is 8. Anyways, but that's gonna be 5 and 3. I don't know.
Hard. Stop it.
Yeah. Anyways, the point is that, like, it's nothing, guys. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. And better to talk about just how awesome the figure is, how they were able to do some kind of engineering that it could not have the wings in the back. They managed to fold it into the backpack, which was really cool. And that's really awesome. I mean, the fact that they were able to do the Fluoro design to give Jazz his traditional gun, that background piece that comes with it from the 86 movie is really cool. That's such a selling point for me. And it's going to take so much, like, I don't want to display it like that, but I really do want to display it like that. But it's going to take so much space. It's just,
do you think people was it, who was with Jazz on Moon? Was it Jazz on Moon?
It was the Porsches. I call it Team Porsche. So it was him and Cliffjumper. Okay. It's funny that they put both the Porsches together. I don't think they're going to do a Cliffjumper just yet, but I could see it happening. The way the Studio Series 86 line, what I've constantly felt why it exists is because I feel that Hasbro is slowly running out of the bulk of characters that existed prior. Like, it's like you have the 5 Michael Bay movies, and then the Bumblebee movie, as much as people like it, there really wasn't a lot of robots in it. So there's not many characters you could pull from that one, and they did most of them. They literally did most of them already. So they're kind of probably going like, ooh, there's not much left of movie appearance characters to do Studio Series from. So now they've gone into the 86 movie to kind of, I don't want to say buy themselves some time, but until another movie comes out so they could do more product of live action. And, I mean, when you do the 86 movie, you open it up to all those G1 characters that appear. You could do a Wheeljack lying down dead on the ground. You could do a Brawn with a hole in the chest. Well, not in the chest, in the arm. Like, there's so many that you could do, let alone, the heavy beats, the Galvatrons, the Cyclonuses and stuff like that. So it's, to me, I'm excited about it. I like what they're doing. Studio Series is the higher price point, so that means there's also a higher chance of better engineering, more paint applications. It's good. It's good. And it's me going. I preferred that Jazz is there rather than, let's say, another generation's War for Cybertron slot, which would have been in that price point, or even worse, the lower price points of that of Cyberverse or whatever they do with the mainline stuff. So it's something that I'm very happy with it. The hot rod looks great too. I criticize little things about the hot rod, but in general it's still a really good toy. Just me wanting perfection more than anything. The Jazz to me looks like perfection, though. I'll be honest with you. I'm very, because even like the little the decos and stuff, they went out of their way to really match it. But Jazz was also one of those designs that I don't want to say they got it perfect from day one, but the general idea was there from day one. The car chest, leg wheel thing has always been a big. It's like Grimlock. It's always been kind of ingrained in that character's design. So throughout the years, whenever they make a new Grimlock, they just tweak it to make it a little better every time. I mean, when you compare like animated Grimlock to Energon Grimlock to movie Grimlock, not movie Grimlock, but like 86 Grimlock, they're all kind of the same thing. They're all just kind of the same kind of transformation. I remember someone that we know, Julian, when he got Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron, and he transformed it, and he was like, yeah, it's like they took the old toy and
and made it better.
Made it slightly better, because it was one of those toys from day one was perfect, like it was pretty much there. So, guys, so many questions. Guys, if you have any questions, just shoot them at us. The super chats will obviously get priority. What we're going to do also, we have, again, I'll bring it up. Probably should bring some of them on camera here. Symbiote Studios is our sponsor of our video this evening. They are a Hasbro licensed company that handles plush, pins, and shirts of Transformers of official product. Here on the screen we have their delicious Bumblebee, which comes with pin, licensed by Hasbro. This is a plush series that is going to be ongoing. The first 3 is Bumblebee. We got also Optimus Prime, and finally that of Soundwave with interchangeable eyepiece if you want. All of these come with matching pins. This will be an ongoing plush series. There's more plush planned in the future, so this is wave 1. There also is their t-shirt series. So this is the Optimus Prime here. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. SymbioteStudios.com. Really cool. They also have, I'm wearing right now the Snake Eyes one for the Snake Eyes movie that's going to be coming out.
I'm glad to hear that's still happening.
Yep, that's going to be happening. So but so they also have the Snake Eyes stuff. So they have some G.I. Joe stuff. That's Snake Eyes with Timber, his wolf. They have a Soundwave shirt too. There's more shirts that are going to be in production. There's more pins on the website. We're going to be giving away a gift certificate, and it's not like a cheapy gift certificate where you still have to buy something. No, it's a gift certificate that essentially has enough money on there that you could buy a bunch of stuff. So, and not have to pay a dime. We cover the shipping anywhere in the world. Don't worry about that. We're going to cover the shipping. So if you're in London, Australia, Alaska, don't matter. And all we need from you is we just need that you have a legal registered address, legal registered email, and a Twitter account. The only reason why we need Twitter is that's how we kind of confirm everything when we send it to you. We don't want to have to guck it up with other social media stuff. We feel Twitter is probably the best one. Josh Perez is here also.
Hey, Joshy.
But yeah, so what we'll do is at some point, we're going to just ask a random question. Anyone who's been to the past streams, we just ask a random question. You guys spam the answer, and I have someone that's in the stream that's going to tally all the correct answers together, and then we're gonna pull one, and then we'll do that, and that'll be that, and we'll have a winner. We've been doing this for the past couple of weeks now. People have been really loving it. Symbiote Studios and Hasbro's been doing a lot of really good stuff with this. And there's never really been a true ongoing plush toy line series. There has been Transformer plush in the past, but they were always kind of like one-shots and stuff like that. So this is like an ongoing thing. There's going to be more in the future. A lot of really cool stuff that's coming. Not just, but other Hasbro properties too. There's going to be obviously Symbiote Studios has Power Rangers, has Magic the Gathering. I'm actually wearing a Magic the Gathering hoodie right now. So there's a lot of stuff that's planned in the future. What else was there? There's so many. G.I. Joe, of course. But yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. It's all coming. So we'll ask that question later in the stream, and people can get excited about that and check that out. How do you guys feel about Earthrise Optimus Prime? It's a really good toy. I mean, it's a affordable masterpiece Optimus Prime with less of a budget. I always feel that, you know, Masterpiece more than ever now is becoming kind of its own collector community, where there's, especially now, the way that Masterpieces are sometimes hitting $200 to $300 depending on where you're buying from, and it's gotten to this point that, you know, there's just, it's priced out for some collectors. Some collectors just can't collect Masterpiece. So Hasbro recognizes that. So usually after a Masterpiece comes out, you know, they look at the Masterpiece and go, how do we shrink this down? Look, we had Masterpiece Optimus Primal. Now we have this Kingdom one that's coming out, which is a comparable replacement for a lot of people. So instead of having to spend $100 on a Masterpiece Optimus Primal or whatever its secondary market is right now, especially because it's an older Masterpiece, you could buy the Voyager for whatever MSRP is going to be in January of 2021 when these release. Wendel and Protoman's Halloween costume for 2020, Kid Vid and Jaws. Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? who it was David Cabal that gave you the Jaws figure?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember I had that figure when I was
I had
younger.
it too as a kid.
I got it from a garage sale in elementary school. I was like, oh, that's cool. This character's cool. But I never remembered or knew that character's name. And then David Cabal gave me the mint in packaging.
Mint in package. Like, oh, mint in package 1988 Burger King Kids Club Jaws figure. What was that, TFCon LA, eh?
Yeah, exactly. That was super nice of him.
Yeah, that was really cool. It was just, I remember, because I remember, like,
the Burger King Kids Club.
Yeah, I remember they had figures of them, and me too, the only one I ever owned was Jaws. Like, it was funny, like, it was like, that was the only one I had, and I remember the only thing I remember about it, because he had a flat top, and I remember you could put the figure upside down, he could, like, stand on his flat top.
And I wanted a Kid Vid, but you could just never find.
Well, Kid Vid was, probably the most popular one. He was like the cool future dude with the backwards baseball cap and stuff. What else do we got here? We got a bunch of questions. Did you guys like the Power of the Prime combiner feat? And you know what? It did its job. I understood its concept where, like, they could be feet or they could be hands. You know, it depending on which mold you're talking about, because some of them they could only be feet, some of them could only be hands. I mean, I really like what Takara's doing right now, where they're re-releasing a lot of stuff for the Japanese market. But how many Diaclone figures?
Isn't Hasbro doing that as well?
You know
Abominus?
What? There's the Hasbro Select stuff. They do it through their website, but it's primarily a Takara thing. I know that like in recent news now they're going to be reissuing the Titans Returns Headmasters, like the deluxe ones. They're going to be reissuing them in old school packaging. And I think part of me feels it's for trademark reasons more than anything. I think they're just kind of going like, ooh, we're not doing Chrome Dome, Hardhead, and a lot of those guys for the next couple of years. So they're probably like, how do we lock them in for 5 years or something and not have to worry about it? Especially, like Chrome Dome, like, that's a Ninja Turtle trademark, I'm pretty sure Playmates is probably like going like, oh man, the second they drop that, you're
gonna slip up one day.
That's one.
Oh no.
Well, that's why. So part of me just feels I think they're just going like, we're just gonna keep these safe for the next 4 years, and maybe year 5 we'll do a Masterpiece Chrome Dome. Who knows where we'll be in 5 years from now? But we'll see what happens. Chrome Dome I could see getting a Masterpiece because he was pretty big in Japan.
Do you think a third party will make another Toxin, and then someone they'll do like the blue Chrome Dome?
A blue and green. I wish that would be so cool.
That we could finally do that.
Well, see that I have Slitherfang. I have Slitherfang here actually, which is about as close as we get to official Toxin right now. So I always keep them nearby. I think it's so wild. It's so cool that we got that. We're gonna get a repaint of that again one day. I hope. Maybe we'll get it in cool colors. I know we have a red one coming. So what else we got here? Questions. But yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, like it's just there's a lot of cool stuff that they also showed off. They showed off. Actually, one thing they didn't show off the new RED stuff. There's gonna be more of that. But the one thing that they showed off that I was talking with JawzD about that I was super excited was the mask homages through the micromasters. When they showed that live, like my mouth dropped. I was like, they just showed the picture. They didn't even say what it was yet, and I was like, oh my god, it's Hondo's car. I was like, because it's Kenner, and Kenner is owned by Hasbro, so they could do it, and it was just that is so cool. And it's funny, like I'm pretty sure Aaron probably knows some of those guys because he started with Kenner first, especially during those days. So
okay.
Like, oh my god, that was so cool. Like the fact that they're doing that. And it's not only that, now it's like there's so many micromaster molds, they could continue doing that gimmick. Like they could do the Rhino with the truck, they could do with Hyperdrive, you could do Thunderhawk, and they have the Thunderhawk trademark. They have it on a Nerf toy right now. So that's how Hasbro is. It's like, do
you think we're gonna see any other molds, other newer molds from the
I don't think
the micromaster line?
I honestly think they're right now they're kind of just milking them a little bit. The reality is I'm looking at them right now, like there's probably I know I'm going to be wrong. Maybe there's like 12 original molds, and then they just kind of repaint among those 12. They change, they still retool like the bodies of the robots, like there's little retools here and there in the face and stuff, but the general shape of the car, the shells are always the same. So they can milk it. There's so many, like, look, at the end of the day, it's when you have a micromaster that's a truck, there's only a billion Transformer characters that you could pull from. So if it's a plane, there's so many that you could pull from. So it could be done, and there's so much fun stuff that could be done with that. Hey, Proto,
because the reason I'm bugging about it is just because I want my tailspin and I want my freewheeler. That's the only reason for the Autobot Race Patrol Micromaster.
Well, I feel that we will get those. Those I feel because those are ones that, like those trademarks, I could see them still having. I really do. Or they'll make some kind of equivalency. We have a question.
Was it? I think Freewheeler's basically a Lamborghini Countach.
Yeah.
And then Tailspin is a Le Mans prototype car.
I could see them taking like Blackjack and making that Freewheeler. For the Le Mans one, we don't really have a mold for that right now. But if they did make one, oh my god, that would open up to so many other characters afterwards.
Exactly.
Like we could get Daytonus back. I want Daytonus back. He was so cool back in the day. So we have a question from Mecha Man Blade. He's asking, "Hey Proto, you mentioned how stores might not carry the final wave of Earthrise in favor of Kingdom. Think of Hey might roll over a few figures to the next line like they did with Astro Train." Very possible. What he's pretty much saying is that sometimes Hasbro, when they need to fill out a wave, like they go, okay, normally we do 4 deluxes, but we only engineered 3. What's going to be that last deluxe? Sometimes they double up on a figure inside the case assortment, so they'll just put 4 of a figure instead of 3. But sometimes they put a filler figure. You mentioned Astro Train here, where Astro Train was a filler for the leader class slot for Earthrise. They also did that with my buddy here, Rung. Rung was originally a Siege mold. He was part of the last wave of the Battle Masters, and then I guess because the shipping was so thin, and maybe it was a fan favorite for the people at Hasbro's office, they made sure that Rung appeared in the Siege first wave of Battle Masters, so he was a carryover. That is a possibility, but what I was saying before, and this always holds true, whenever it's the end of a wave, it's going to be of a line, that last wave is always difficult, especially when retailers know there's a new hotness that's going to be coming out, and especially when it's the holiday season. So here's Kingdom that's going to be coming out. brand new refresh, new packaging, new gimmick. It's hyped up. It's everything. The play pattern, the price points, the trading cards, even the packaging is its own gimmick. And it's going to be Wave 1, a new concept, and holiday season release, late December, early January. You know, a lot of retailers are just going to sit on their laurels to get rid of whatever they have right now of Earthrise and even some leftovers of Siege and Cyberverse before they're going to buy new cases of late wave Earthrise. And again, every single store is different. I can't reiterate this enough. A lot of times people always go to me, oh, well, my Walmart sucks. Yeah, but the thing is, every Walmart's a different story. Every Walmart, and the one argument that I always give people is, you know, they go, oh, every time I go to my Walmart, it doesn't have anything. When you went that time, are you at that Walmart 24/7? Sometimes I go to my Toys R Us or Walmart and there's nothing there. That's not saying that half an hour before I got there, someone else went in there and cleared out everything. I don't know. You know, I don't know. It's hard to tell. So it's something that you have to literally just be vigilant. There was a time back in the day, people know I used to work at Burger King. When I worked at Burger King, it was next to a Walmart. I used to go every day just because it was right there. It was right next to it, so why not? And because I went every day, there was times, and this was like when Energon was out, just to give you an idea of how long ago that was. It was 2003. There was times where I went every day, and I realized there was times when if I didn't go every day, there would have been figures that I would have never gotten if I didn't go every day. Like when Energon Omega Sentinel came out, which was like the repaint of Omega Supreme, it was like out there for like 3 days, and then that was it, and then it was gone. It was out for like, but that's just it. Like, so it's something where you got to be vigilant. I know it's a waste of gas for some people to have to go every day, but it's every Walmart has their own story. Every community has their own scalpers or the people that are regulars or even the people who work in there who might be fans too. So it's hard to measure that. I understand people's frustration, but that's something that's part of the game that you got to understand when it comes to being a toy collector and more specifically a toy hunter, if anything.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the non-transforming wheelie from Studio Series? He's an accessory. That's kind of it. He's literally, it's something where I'm pretty sure they said to themselves, how do we justify having this big Grimlock at this price point? Well, why don't we give them an extra accessory that doubles as a figure? But part of them, I'm pretty sure they're saying, you know what? And who knows, a year from now, Studio Series 86, you'll get your wheelie. You'll get like some kind of like 2-pack, which it'll be like Wheelie and Bumblebee or Wheelie and Cliff Jumper. Like they'll put like 2 smaller characters in a deluxe pack, and that'll be that. You know, and it'll be a transforming wheelie. But I think right now they just wanted to do the Dinobots, and they want to have that iconic scene of, you know, me Grimlock want to munch metal. You know, like they just they want that. Hey Proto, what do you think the rest of the do you think the rest of the Dinobots will get new figures? Yes, but with time. It's look, Hasbro's a company. They don't want to show all their cards in one hand. They got to turn to their investors. They got to turn to their boss Brian Goldner, and they got to go, look, here's our 5-year plan. You know, maybe we're gonna get a Dinobot every 6 months. Maybe we're gonna get a Dinobot every year. Who knows? But I 100% feel we'll get the Dinobots. Will we get Snarl, who was kind of not in the movie but was in the movie in only 2 scenes? Maybe not him, but maybe we will. Maybe I'm wrong there. But we will definitely get most of them. What's up, Michael? But yeah, for sure. It's one thing you got to understand with Transformers is that it's a long game. It's a lifestyle brand. It's a lifestyle hobby. And Hasbro's aware that you can't give everyone everything in one shot because then they have nothing later to sell you later. You got to really put it out slowly and everything. And it makes sense because there's only so much product you could put out at a time. Already people complain to me, oh my God, there's so much stuff that's coming out now. Like every Fan First Friday, it's like, oh, here's all these reveals and the pre-orders are up. And then people go like, I'm broke, there's too much stuff. And then at the same time, they then turn around and go, hey, when are they doing this? It's like, well, there's already so much to begin with. I think they need to slow it down, me personally. I think there's too much. And that's not even coming from the Masterpiece side, from the Japanese side. That's just from like what Hasbro's doing. It's already pretty crazy. But yeah, don't suppose you have any info on the Arc Titan? I gave a little bit of a teaser of some stuff from last stream. Go back and watch that. I don't want to say it again. I know quite a bit. Let's just put it that way. Do you think we will see Unicron in Studio Series? They'd have to make a new price point for that. Because think about it, like right now Studio Series is pretty much just Deluxe, Voyager, and Leader class. If you had a Unicron, you'd have to go into that Supreme territory. Now, granted, we kind of have now this new big box set for Devastator that's going to be coming out, so that might be considered like a new price point. Maybe we might get a Unicron, but like I just said, Hasbro's not going to do everything in one shot. We still have the HasLab Unicron that hasn't even come out yet. So that has to come out. Let that marinate for a bit. Give it a year and a half, and then we might get Unicron's head or something in someone's box set. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. Out of curiosity, does anyone miss the new original Transformers characters? There are so few. It's actually Aaron that's asking this. There are so few these days. What balance do people like? Well, I mean, I feel that G1 is getting constantly their fix all the time. Yeah. So I think the original character, like, I think Aaron, when he says new original characters, like, Aaron came from an era where when Armada came out, you know, it was 50% original trademarks and 50% new characters using original trademarks. Meaning, like, you had a character named Red Alert, but it wasn't G1 Red Alert.
Right.
You had a character named Hotshot, but it wasn't Robots in Disguise, you know, Spy Changer Hotshot. It was a and if anything, we associate Hotshot with that version now forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing with Bulkhead. You know, like you look at animated, you know, there was a Bulkhead trademark before that one. It was an Energon toy. It was the green repaint of Sprang from Superlink. But when that animated Bulkhead came out, I mean, that was it. That's Bulkhead for us. So, I mean, I lean more towards new characters. Only because I feel that not only is it good for it business-wise, because then it gives them new characters that they can milk to death afterwards. But it's
like I kind of dug the RC from Prime, but I kind of felt that maybe they could have given her a different name.
Oh, totally.
Like just personality-wise, it was just, I mean,
they could have called it Chromia, and people people would have bought it.
I also feel that maybe RC had a change in character in like animated.
Yes.
Because, you know, she was like she had amnesia, and then she came back, and then for a little while RC was always like associated with like this dual wielding bladed character for a bit, and then animated, and then RC Prime, she was more like a noir detective. You know, her partner was died and stuff, so she wants to do things solo, and she gets used to her new. It just felt like a completely different character. So I thought that would have been cool if they kept doing that style of character, but maybe with a different name. You know,
and not to mention, like, and this is another thing too, is imagine if when Slipstream came out in animated, imagine if they just called her Skywarp. Like, it's Skywarp. It's a female Skywarp. That's not as fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, oh, it's just female Skywarp. Okay, gender bender Skywarp. You know, like, why can't it be a new character? So it's imagine if when Windblade came out, they were just like, oh, it's not Windblade. It's it's Alita 1. It's just she's red now. Like, it's just she's just red instead of. And it's funny because we ended up getting an Alita 1 that turns into a jet. But the thing is that you want fresh. You want fresh IP. You want fresh trademark. You want fresh characters. It makes people excited because then there's new characters, and then that character has its own growing mythos moving forward. Because now, when you talk making a Bulkhead character, you right away in your mind picture a silhouette, a color, a character type, you know, a voice actor in some cases. So where if Bulkhead, when he made his debut, he was just called Ironhide, it's not as fun. Because then it's like, like, it's not the same. And it's funny because he was called Ironhide in the Japanese dub, but that's a whole other story.
Okay. And then same with, like, Drift coming into the Bay movies, and I keep forgetting the bounty hunter's name.
Crosshairs. Or Lockdown.
Lockdown, yeah, and Lockdown coming into the Bay
Yeah.
movie from animated. So,
And there you go,
know,
and that's just it. It creates these new characters that people could pull from and use. And look, it's not to say I don't like Hot Rod, Jazz, Prowl, Bumblebee, Cliff Jumper, and all those crew, but you got to me personally. If I ever made a Transformer series, it would still have those characters, but it would be flavored with new characters. Like it'd be like you got to put Starscream because people are crazy. I mean, if you so he has to be there. In the way I look what Transformers Prime did was really smart in the sense that they gave you Starscream, they gave you Soundwave, they gave you Megatron, but then they gave you Knockout, who's a really popular new character. So popular that he won the fan vote recently. So it says a lot about new characters. And then Knockout came out, and it made such a big deal to people that like he got like, man, let me turn for that. I think he got like 12 different toys, So, I mean, it shows that there's a market for that, but at the same time, I understand why it's happening because Hasbro right now, and we're talking just the Transformer brand, they got to have at least like no joke, probably like 80 trademarks that they have to constantly be vigilant about, and they're just going they're in this situation where it's like I constantly bring this up, but if Beast Wars would have came out today, Cheetor would have been called Prowl, Rhinox would have been called Ironhide, Tigatron would have been called Jazz. Like they would have just found stuff that attaches, and they would have done that instead of creating a new trademark for Cheetor, a new trademark for Rhinox. Like think about that entire first wave of Maximals, with the exception of Dinobot, was all new trademarks. Even Optimus Primal is a new trademark. But why did that happen? Because it was Kenner. It was a different world. It wasn't Hasbro worrying about Transformers was in the dumps after G2 didn't really work out like they hoped. So it made sense for them to go in that direction. But at the same time, it's like, you look at the Predacon side, and it's like, Megatron, that's an old trademark. Pterosaur, new trademark. Scorponok, old trademark. Tarantulas, new trademark. And then you get the Black Arachnia, new trademark. Inferno, old trademark. Especially a trademark from G2. So there's all these little things going on. Protoman, what is this dark glass that Hyotron is selling, and how do I get it? Are you talking about Hayato Sakamoto and what he's selling? You'll have to contact him. He understands English. The trademark game is expensive too, just like Aaron said. Yeah, and not to mention, and that's just Hasbro Transformers. Then you're talking G.I. Joe. Then you're talking like all their Nerf brands and all the trademarks, which it's funny because when you look at Nerf guns, like they're all just Transformer names. It's the Shockwave, it's the the long arm blaster, which
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no, it's they did it with G.I. Joe. They did it with My Little Pony. There's a My Little Pony character named Beachcomber. There's a My Little Pony character named Trax. There's a My Little Pony character named Cosmos. I think it's Cosmos. Yeah, but the point is that like they do that all the time. They just shift it around because they got to use those. They pay for those trademarks and they have to use them by law. Hasbro's current TF releases, if there's no copyright possible like there is with TF Victory, don't expect Hasbro to pay attention to it. Of course, if they're not sitting on Lio Kaiser as a trademark, there's no rush to make Lio Kaiser. And that's a sad truth. Protoman, thank you for revealing those people who stole product from Hasbro. Well, that's something we're going to talk about probably in the future when I have Aaron Archer on the show. We're going to talk about stolen stuff from factories and stuff. That's been that's another hot button topic it's been going on since like 2008, 2009, and then it kind of stopped when they switched to Vietnam, and now it started up again. But we'll get into that. That was a whole other crazy topic that I was talking about. What would happen if Hasbro lost Optimus Prime as a trademark? Well, it would definitely be a mess, that's for sure. I don't think
put a damper on a lot of
the
things.
funny thing is though, actually, I wish I had an example close by. Most
What about Autobot Jazz?
No, but I wanted to just show something. Let me see something that has a name on it.
Cavalier Hot Rod?
Well, they did Rodimus Major at one point. I'm trying to find because I think Optimus Prime is different than the rest of the Autobots. He actually has a different kind of way that he's trademarked. I wish I had something nearby with Optimus's name on it. I don't, unfortunately. I have like stuff with Chromia, which is most Transformers when they're trademarked, it has TM after it. It's trademark. Where when you look at like stuff like Transformers, it has an R after it, which is registered. I think Optimus Prime is also registered. Let me see Megatron. Yeah, see, Megatron also is registered. God, I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up because it's so tiny. Megatron and Optimus are registered, which is I think that's like a 10-year trademark.
Barely.
Yeah, it's like anyone go look at your Siege figures or Earthrise figures, you'll see what I'm talking about. But those are different. That's a whole different thing. So I don't think they're not going to lose Megatron and Optimus anytime soon. If anything, Machine Wars was them going, oh my God, we didn't use Soundwave and Optimus Prime during Beast Wars, and we're going to lose them. So Machine Wars came out and they kind of covered some names. They didn't cover Bumblebee, unfortunately, but they covered other names. So I don't think they'll lose Optimus Prime. I think that would be the most short-sighted. First of all, someone would get, not only someone would get fired.
I'm assuming someone has a salary to make sure that Optimus Prime and Megatron
it's the legal.
On.
It's the legal department. That's pretty much, it's Hasbro legal and copyright that look into that stuff. They literally probably have someone, and we're not talking just Transformers. We're talking all of their brands. There's probably someone sitting around going like, hey, when was the last time did we use, Dusty for G.I. Joe? Did we use it recently? Did we put it on a Nerf gun? Did we name a My Little Pony after it? Like, people need to understand. Like, to give an example, if anyone remembers Mad Balls, no? Mad Balls was a weird 80s toy line.
Barely.
It was
like weird faces on Super Balls.
So American Greetings, they did Care Bears, and their boy brand was Mad Balls. And so American Greetings did Mad Balls, and Mad Balls, they got sued by Hasbro because they named some of their Mad Balls after G.I. Joe characters. There was I think it was a mummy that was named Dusty, and they ended up getting sued by Hasbro at that time, and then they had to change. I think they changed the character's name to like Dusty McMummy, or like they changed the name, and then years later, Megatropolis Toys got the rights to Mad Balls, and they had to change the names. So like it's very important to keep those trademarks because stuff does cross over. Stuff gets mixed up. Look, the character of Bumblebee, we know the story of that would happen with DC with the female character of Bumblebee from the DC Superhero Girls line. Like there's a lot of headaches that happen with that. See, like here, Michael, so like Galvatron, like most of those, Michael, are going to be trademarks. But when you're talking like Optimus, Megatron, maybe Starscream, Skylynx is registered. That's interesting. Maybe they don't really have plans to do much with that one for a while. But yeah, and they have to pay for that. They have to pay, and it's a lot of money. And names are on the individual development teams. Legal does not keep track for most of the teams. We might have to get a report on names when coming up for resubmission. Well, I remember, Aaron, when you posted, we were doing the panel for Armada, and you were showing like the character of Sideways when you were developing it, and how it had all those names on the side. He could have been Ravage. He could have been, I think, like this and that. And that's fascinating because it shows the process of how that works. But it also helps people understand, how things get made. Shockwave, see, trademark. Most of them are going to be trademark. Most of them, it's very rare that you see registered. Registered is more for like really important stuff, like really, really important stuff. Hasbro has money for these trademarks and registers. They squeeze all they can from us. I don't know about that. Look, it's a business. Guys, you have to understand at the end of the day, it is a business, and they're going to do what is the most effective at a time when toys are not as hot as they used to be. That's something you got to understand too. It's not like, you know, the 80s or like the early 90s when toys were just printing money. It's a weaker thing now. It's a way weaker thing, and so they have to be careful because you make one crappy toy line for Transformers and that could derail everything. It really can. So they got to be careful with that. Do you think Hasbro can make an Infinity Gauntlet Transformer? Well, they'd have to talk to Marvel. They did a Transformer crossover line. It didn't do very well. So it got like, I think, past 2 waves and that was it. So if they want to revisit doing that again, I don't know. I don't think, and not to mention that was a completely different development team too. It was the guys that did the Star Wars Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
So those were kind of hit or miss, unfortunately. Anyone who's ever messed with those toys, you go, these feel a little different. So happy that Hasbro got Shockwave back. Wasn't a fan of Shock Blast. Well, that's what happens. Like, look, like Jazz was Meister at one point, and then it was Special Ops Jazz. They had the column.
Wasn't there minor Jazz?
No, I don't think.
Like
I don't think. Well, no, there was. Hot Rod had a lot of weird ones. First, it was like, you know, they went with Hot Shot, and then it was Rodimus Major, and then they did Rodimus Minor, and then it was Autobot Hot Rod, which I believe was gotten back with a. They did a little PVC figure in the UK with the Robot Heroes, and that was the first time they got Hot Rod back. But yeah, it's just it's a complicated system that people need to understand that. But when you understand it better, it helps you understand what's going on with Transformers better. Now what we're going to do is we're going to ask a question, and you guys answer it. We're going to pick a name at random, and maybe like 15 minutes afterwards, my guy will let me know when he has a name. We're going to ask a question. People answer it, and if you get it right, and we pick your name, you win a gift certificate from Symbiote Studios and Hasbro with their official plush line, where you can get all kinds of cool stuff: plush, T-shirts, pins. I suggest the pins. The pins are really cool. They are really cool. I love these pins. They're so nice. All you need, again, like I said, registered Twitter account, registered email address, and registered shipping address. It can't be a P.O. box, unfortunately, because we are shipping through a way where we could send for free anywhere in the world. And the question we are going to ask, and we're going to ask a slightly harder one because the last ones were kind of easier.
Yeah, so the answer is not going to be Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, where are we doing everything from? The question we're going to ask is, in the Transformers Beast Wars McDonald's toy line, there was a character that turned into a manta ray. What was his name? Or her name? And then we'll let
I remember that toy vividly.
Let's see. I'm actually shocked. I think some people are okay. So now it's rolling in. Now it's rolling in. Okay, so let people answer their let them answer. And we're going to collect all the people that answered correctly, and then we're going to... And spelling counts, people. Last time when we did... I forget what the question was. People were misspelling it like... Oh, we were asking Strika, and people were spelling Striker, Strika. So, anyways, we'll get into that after. So we'll announce the winner afterwards. Bob is awesome. Bob asks us a super chat question. Thank you, Bob. Just got it tonight. GameStop has G2 Tiger. Oh, the Tiger Electronics. Nice. Here, I got him right here. Yeah, I own the original. I paid way too much money for the original, and it was all scratched up. It's sitting in my G2 display. I don't have it in the package, though. I have it loose, the original. But the only difference between the original and this one is where it says convert. Over here, it said transform with the original. Hasbro likes to use the term convert now because that way people can't steal the trademark for convert or associate that with transform. So, but otherwise, it's 100% like the original. I'm shocked how well these are, the good quality. From the vault, Tiger Electronic. They also did Sonic the Hedgehog, the X-Men one, which I was so tempted to get, and the Little Mermaid because they also have the Disney Princess trademark Hasbro right now. So they're doing all the stuff with them. But this is so cool. If you see these, pick these up. Supposedly Someone told me they're showing up in Walmarts now too in the electronic department. So check. This is so cool because this. Let me tell you something. This stupid game, when it was in the secondary market loose, you were talking $80 to $100, and I don't want to say what I paid, but yeah, let's just say it was BotCon 2010. I think it was. I bought it from. I think I bought it from Tony. And yeah, not a different Tony than Wendell, and Tony
okay.
Perito. And yeah, I paid way too much. But again, because I like video game merchandise and it was Transformers, it's like how do I not get it? And it was crazy because I bought it and then I was planning to bring it to my video game panel for TFCon. I forgot it at home, and I was like,
oh no.
What? Because I brought so many stuff. Like I brought like the Commodore 64 games and all the stuff, and I forgot that one. I was like, whatever. It's not a big deal. But it was like one of the many things. Hey, Protoman, have you found the second wave of Netflix toy line in stores yet? It's been kind of sketchy in Quebec how the Netflix stuff has been released. We never got the spoiler box of Ultra Magnus. Some of the Netflix stuff showed up, but only the first wave. I've yet to see Alita 1. She was the one I wanted to buy of all of those. But we shall see, essentially. But yeah. My guy who is in charge of the winner. Okay, so we have a winner.
Oh.
He picked a name finally. So Troy Smith, you are the winner, Troy. So first, Troy, let me know that you see it, because if you don't, I'm going to have to ask him to pick another winner. So Troy, if you got it, just like go, hey, I won, and then contact me. There you go, Troy. Perfect.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So through Twitter, private message me, and I'll get you all the information you need. You don't have to worry about much. But again, email address and shipping address, real ones, are key so that we can get everything to you. And then again, thanks again to Symbiote Studios and Hasbro for providing all the cool stuff, the t-shirts, everything, all the cool stuff. Again, symbiotestudios.com. Check them out. And also,
Congrats,
as a extra gift for everybody who didn't win today, if you go to symbiotestudios.com and you go to checkout and use promo code Protoman, you get $5 off your first order. So we got that too, also for everybody. So if you want to buy something cool from Symbiote Studios, you got $5 off on us on the podcast today. All because of Wendell, actually. Just because Wendell's here, we'll do $5 off.
Hey. What's up?
But yeah, so that's essentially what we have when it comes to Alita 1. I think she's Wave 2, if I remember correctly, Alita 1. So that's why I probably haven't seen her. But I really want to get her. She's like, because that's like a repaint retool, and so that's really cool. Where are we at here? Where are we at? If I miss questions, guys, just say them again, essentially. Do you think we'll get any Shattered Glass repaints of Earthrise or Studio Series 86 figures? I think sooner or later they're going to get around to some of those molds and do stuff like that. I don't know about Shattered Glass. I think that the reason why we got a Shattered Glass Ratchet was just because, when you look at the Ratchet mold, you go, what do you do with this? You do Ironhide. After you do Ironhide, what do you do with this? So I think they were just kind of going like, let's just do Shattered Glass. It's the same thing with Hot Rod. Like, look at the Hot Rod mold. After you do an Evil Black repaint, which is Shattered Glass, what do you do? What do you do with Hot Rod? There isn't really much you could do with the Hot Rod mold. So it's something that, look, Jazz has Stepper. But Jazz, you could do G2 Jazz with the musical instrument like note on it. So Jazz has at least a few options. You could do Gold, Golden Lagoon Jazz. Like there's different options. Hot Rod doesn't have many of them. They did the only other one I could think of. They did like the Wild Rider repaint, which wasn't received well from Henkei. They did a clear Hot Rod and clear blue, which was like, Matrix using Hot Rod, which wasn't received well. They did an all gold repaint of Hot Rod multiple times. They were all lucky draws, so there's not much that could be done with certain molds. So that's when they lean on Shattered Glass. When you have a character that you go, what do you do with that? Where do you go with that? Now see Ricochet, which is Stepper.
Yeah.
Stepper is Ricochet. Ricochet is the American trademark name for Stepper. We have here a question from Percy. Hello, Proto, from Brazil. Your cast taught me a lot about trademark things. Thank you, Percy. That's the whole point of the podcast, is that I like to school people on stuff in our fandom that a lot of times people don't understand. I've been part of the Transformer fandom since literally the internet began in 95. Like, you know, maybe I was late to 94 to America Online, but you know, I've always been there, and I would constantly see always the same kind of questions that would come up. You know, when you go all the way back in time to like, why is there no RC toy? You know, there was always business decisions and reasons why stuff is done, and I felt that as I started doing creative content, I wanted to focus more on, you know, those more common questions, and like, why don't we have this character? Why is Bludgeon this repaint? You know, like little things like that. And there's very simple answers to them a lot of the time. Like, again, the thing that we just discussed with Jazz, there was a very deep kind of explanation with licensing and sponsor licensing and the history of that character. It's understanding that kind of stuff instead of just being an emotional reaction on Twitter, which is not. People always ask me why I don't follow anybody on Twitter. I follow 9 people. I think it's 9 people at this point. I don't even know who I follow anymore. I follow very few people on Twitter just because I don't want to have to deal with drama. I rather just post stuff so people could enjoy the content, and that's that. Twitter is a very good platform for sharing creative content. It's not a good platform for being a crybaby, and I don't want to be part of that. We got a question from Joshua Perez, the coolest guy in the world and #1 colorist on all sides of the globe, especially with Hayato's work. Proto and Wendel, what are some untouched, obscure toy lines you'd love to see come back? Botsmaster, Food Fighters, Computer Warriors. Literally, Josh, you just named them all. Because, like, I would, first of all, Botsmaster, it would no question, I would want that back. Food Fighters, I would love to come back too, just because it's so obscure and I have an idea of a story in my head and I would love Food Fighters to come back. Computer Warriors, Josh, who owns Computer Warriors, right? Who owned it originally? Was that Kenner? Was that Kenner that owned Computer Warriors? Because, like, that's something that, if it was a Kenner thing, it actually probably would stand a chance today. Like, that would be something I could see Transformers integrating into their stuff if it's Kenner. If it's Mattel, then we're in trouble. It's Mattel. Damn it. Mattel
is to say mine.
I've talked about it with Aaron Archer. Like, I think Mattel's dead in the next 5 years. I don't know. Oh no. You know, like, I don't know.
I don't want him to
go back and watch. Go back and watch the stream we did with Aaron Archer. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about that company. Anyways,
do you want me to say mine?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, aka Microman. Right, Microman, right?
Well, Microman from the Japanese side, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, so that I would say that for sure.
Well, Gridman, you're talking about
Gridman. There it is. Yeah. I know I was saying it wrong.
Well, we have the new series from Japan, but maybe like a more American equivalency. You mean you don't want Gridman to come back. You want Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad to come back.
Yeah.
You know,
those toys, maybe a more modern version of it.
Dig up Matthew Lawrence after all these years. What is he doing now?
Because I kind of feel like, I guess the main character. You remember he had like all that armor and stuff.
Servo, yeah.
Servo had all that armor with all the other flying
whatever they were called
vehicles or whatever, and then like Car Robots did that with Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
You know, with the fire truck. So I mean, you can do that better, because it felt like from whatever specific toys I got to mess around with barely, they felt very loose, or they just didn't have all the coupling pieces with it. You know
like that. You know what's funny about that? If I remember correctly, I believe it's Hasbro took the Takara, because those toys, the Gridman toys, the original ones, they were Takara. And then Hasbro was the ones who brought them over, and I believe they were 1-for-1 like the originals, but the tooling just wasn't there. And because it was supposed to be, I forget what the story is. I remember reading this a while back, and it was because Gridman is supposed to be part of the Ultraman universe, but not really.
Yeah.
And Ultraman usually does stuff through Bandai and everything, so it was kind of weird for Takara to be doing it. I remember reading that somewhere. This was years ago, which, you know, now Gridman, you have the new SSS Gridman anime series. It's amazing. We have the new one that's coming out soon. Season 2 is going to be coming out soon. So, you know, that's going to be awesome. But yeah, I totally get what you mean. It's not so much like bringing Sentai back, but bringing Power Rangers back. You know, it's like, let's not bring back Kamen Rider, let's bring back Masked Rider, you know?
Exactly.
And the talking dog.
No, there was a talking dog and the Furby thing.
Oh, the Furby thing. What was that? Furbus or something his name was?
I don't remember the name,
oh my
but
God.
it was like a Furby looking thing.
What was the name of the dog? I think it was Jeb or Jeb. I think it was Jeb was the name of the dog, and he was supposed to have a toy too with like a jetpack. Oh God.
Another obscure toy line. Oh boy. Maybe
King
maybe
Arthur and the
Police
Knights
Academy?
of Justice. I want my King Arthur and the Knights of Justice back.
Did you hear me?
Which one?
I said Police Academy.
Police Academy. Well, here's the thing. So, if we bring back Police Academy, it has to be under Hasbro, because Hasbro has some of those trademarks still. So,
Oh my goodness.
Kenner,
Hightower.
Yeah, well, no, Hightower they still have, which they got because Kenner did the Police Academy toy line. They had a character named Hightower, and then they took the Hightower trademark, they put it on a G.I. Joe character, and then they put it on a Transformer character.
Jeez.
So if you want to have Hightower, who was like the big black guy in Police Academy, if you have to have a Hightower toy, you're gonna have to do it through Hasbro, or they'll have to call it like I guess Sergeant Hightower or something if Mattel did it. But no, they'll bring it. I'm pretty sure they would just do it. They do it with you know why? If they would bring back Police Academy, knowing the way Hasbro is now, they'd probably opt to do it just so they could do a reissue line. They'll do like Kenner Classics, like they're doing with the Ghostbuster stuff right now.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
Jaws said cops. Not Jaws. Josh said cops. Cops for sure. Cops is another one where like Hasbro has so many of those. Look, Barricade.
I think you could do those figures well now. Like you don't have to worry about the old
the O-ring
just dying.
I don't know. They still. But I just recently picked up the reissue, like the here's the Baroness from the 6-inch line. They don't use O-rings anymore. So if we could get a 6-inch, well, mind you, Cops in a lot of ways was a 6-inch line also. It was more like a 5-inch, but if they did like a 6-inch Cops line, I'd be so all over that. Bulletproof, long arm. Give us the female characters. We never got Nightshade. We never got Mainframe. And Mainframe's a Transformer trademark, and that was the blonde female character.
Oh yeah, she was their computer person.
Yeah, they're like, well, kind of like their what's like, you know, the one that kind of guides people. Yeah, dispatcher. Yeah. And she was like the tech head. Who else was in that? Like there were so many. There was
Boom Boom.
No, but there was another female character. She was like the buff one on the bad guys. It was
Good Body?
No, what was her name? Oh my God, she had blonde hair. She was built like a tank.
I can't remember.
She's the one who helped. She helped Rock Crusher throw Taser like in the intro. Like you know in the intro, like they throw. Oh, what is her name? Because I know you have Dr. Bad Vibe, who's female. I think she's Misdemeanor. Thank you, Ninjatron. Because Misdemeanor. I love the name. I love that. I remember years ago, I was on a huge Cops kick, and I bought like the entire DC comic book series. And the DC comic book series actually has a conclusion to the show. Like there actually
really?
is. Yeah, the last issue. I don't want to spoil it, but they finally get, because the story with Cops was they were never able to arrest Big Boss because he never was directly involved, so they couldn't get anything on him, right, to arrest him. And then they find out he did something that was like a stupid small charge, and now they can arrest him. And like, I don't want to spoil it, but like, read the last issue.
I would assume it's something very similar to
a real stupid thing. They're like, we got him on this.
Like, okay. Because I remember it's something similar. Like, well, I'm not saying it's something similar, but like, what's his name? Not Bugsy Malone. Is it? No, not Bugsy Malone. Remember the movie Untouchables?
Yeah.
So what's
I don't remember the names of the
Al
characters.
Capone. Al Capone. They got him on taxes.
Tax evasion. No, it's
Yeah,
something even dumber than that.
I would assume so if it's a kid show.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is the way that the comic book version was done by DC was a little more darker. Like the origin story for Bulletproof's a little more graphic. They went more that like Murphy kind of route. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
like it's really good. Like if you like cops, go track down the DC comic. And what's cool about the DC comics is they also have the letter pages where like the fans write in. And it was funny just seeing like the cops fandom when the show was brand new and people going like, oh, this character's so cute, or I like him. We should do more stories about that. Like it was really interesting. Like they do like a whole backstory with Long Arm and how he's like a third generation police officer.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, I remember that episode.
They did an
Like, I
episode
think
of
was
it too,
Was
but
it his dad or was it his grandfather?
His
Like, yeah, back in my
grandfather,
day,
his
we
dad,
used to
like they were all patrolmen. So like Cops was so, like, see now Josh Make is going on a Cops tangent. I love Cops. Like I literally have almost every figure from that toy line. It's so
that
good.
intro is fire though.
No, that intro is beyond fire. It's beyond. That is deep. You know, you could say whatever you want about Deke Animation of their actual animation, but Deke Animation when they got to do intros, it's like they got that like packed down. They're like King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, Botsmaster, even like what's it called there? Sky Surfer Strike Force. You know? Like they have
Surfer Strike Force.
Oh,
what?
look it up, man. You're gonna be like, what is Sky Surfer Strike Force?
Excuse me, I'm gonna be typing here.
Oh my god, it is. They have like Deke Animation when it comes to doing intros. Like even look, Mummies Alive was Deke. You know, like they know. And you know what I learned recently about Mummies Alive? You know who co-produced and created it?
Who?
The creator of Ghostbusters, Alan Reitman or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I mean, the animation kind of seems very similar to Ghostbusters.
I was like,
and the
what?
toys were very,
All
very,
those
very,
years, I
very
never
similar
even-
to Ghostbusters. So I'm not surprised by that.
See, even Josh, Sky Surfer Strike Force had gorgeous intro animation. Yeah, like Deke when
I've never seen this show.
it's super
This does not look
super
familiar at all.
obscure. It has toys too. Is Deke Korean? I want to say it is. Xavier. Deke is one of these companies where it's like they like as opposed to Ruby Spears. Ruby Spears is another one where the intros are not bad, but the second you get to the actual show animation, it just takes a dive. Especially like something like the Mega Man cartoon, which had an amazing intro. Michael wrote, I miss Ruby Spears animation. It's, you know what? I think it's what it is I miss when you had multiple companies doing 2D animation. And now it's literally like just 4 studios and they're all using Flash animation. So nothing has a unique style anymore. Like I was recently watching, what was it that I saw? I was just flipping through the channels. Oh, the Care Bears cartoon. They did one in like in 2008 or something. And I swear it was so soulless because it was Flash animation. So like all the I felt like they just copy and pasted every bear. And it's like, oh, that's Grumpy Bear. So just make sure it has a grumpy face, but otherwise it's the same mold, you know? It's the same, didn't Deke do Super Mario? Yes, just to cut you off. Yes, Deke did the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and that has a fire intro too. And Super Mario Brothers Super Show is one of my favorite shows of all time. I have so much fond memories of it. Danny Wells, the guy who played Luigi, was a Montreal local.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah, born and raised in Montreal. After he retired, he came back to Montreal for a bit. He did the convention scene, and then he went to live in Ontario, where he passed away. But I have and again, all the wrestlers that made cameos.
Oh, yeah.
Because of Captain
Rod
Lou.
scared, was it Roddy Piper scaring the crap out
Roddy
of him?
Roddy Piper, Sergeant Slaughter was on there. They got Elvira, who was on a banned episode. The Elvira episode isn't on the DVD.
Really? It's banned?
Because of it's Elvira. What do you think she was wearing? So it's not on the DVD box set. You could find it online, but yeah, it's not on the DVD box set. They had Elvira.
That's lame. That's where you would put. That's your selling point there.
That would be something you literally put a sticker on the cellophane, like it has these actors. You know, it had Maurice LaMarche, who was the voice of Inspector Gadget, playing Inspector Gadget. You know.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
So like it was so
that was surreal.
Yeah.
I remember I saw that as a kid. I was like, wait, you're a cartoon. How does this even work?
So like it was such a good show. It was such a good show. I know it's cheesy for its time. I mean today, but back then, like, man. And Deke also
It was
did like
basically like it was like Saturday Night Live for kids, basically.
Yeah,
you
it
get
was.
the special guests coming.
Yeah,
in.
they would have what's her name from Beverly Hills not 90210. What was the other one? Oh no, yeah, it was. I think it was from Beverly Hills 90210. They had her on it. They had.
I remember they had Frank Zappa's daughter Moonbase was on there. I think she was Luigi's niece or something.
They had Magic Johnson. Because of Captain Lou, they had Cyndi Lauper was on it. Like it was like, you know, who was the who's who back then of the late 80s, early 90s, pretty much, that Captain Lou had in his Rolodex, you know. So it was really good, really good.
I don't think anyone's gonna say no to a kids show usually. You know what I mean?
Well, especially
like, hey, you don't like kids, you're not gonna do it for the kids. Oh,
according to what
you know what I mean?
according to what Danny Wells said, because he was at a fan expo in Montreal. He was a guest there. He did a panel.
Fan expo in Montreal.
We had one fan expo in Montreal. You were actually at it. You just didn't realize it was a fan expo. Remember the one with Pat Lee?
I think so.
That was fan expo. It was the one and only one.
Sorry.
So anyways, Danny Wells did a panel, and I sat in it, and he said that him and Captain Lou, all the live action stuff, it was all done on the fly. There was like they were given like they were given bullet points, like here's what the story is, because they were so short anyways, and it was they just kind of they improv'd everything, and it's like I could see that, it works. But I loved it. I have so much fond memories for that show. And same thing, the Zelda cartoon, that's my link. I'm sorry, that's my link. Smarmy.
For me, it's a bit weird. For me, it's a bit weird that like Link is shooting out this like Steve Martin line.
He's the best.
You know, all us kids aren't old enough to see.
Me,
like,
princess.
We're not old enough to see Steve Martin do stand up, and yet Link is batting out this line. Excuse me.
I'm telling you, like that Link. You just watch the very first episode, and it's like. And there's like Zelda's on the balcony, and then here's Link, like he's a balcony above her from another tower, and he's like, "Hey, princess, looking pretty good, especially from what I could see from up here." And it's like, God damn, like, you know, as an adult going back and watching this, I'm like, oh man, this is my Link. This is my Link. This is my Link. I like this Link. None of this, ha, 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 you know. Blondie.
You know what you should do? You should do an edit where you have that scene, and then it's Bart and Homer in the future, and it's like, which one is Link? That the guy. Link's a jerk.
I love that Link. That'll forever be my Link. Like it has an awesome intro. That's one of those series I wish the soundtrack existed. Because they took all of that 8-bit music at the time. Now keep in mind, Super Nintendo didn't even exist yet. They took all that 8-bit music from the first and second Zelda game, and they like made it instrumental and
kind of orchestrated.
It was so good. It was so good. Even the Mario music. Just where is my Deke Entertainment, Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and Legend of Zelda soundtrack? Where's Enjoy the Rides with their vinyl records? Give me that. You know, like, give me something. Crimson Rapper, what's up, Protoman? Hey there, everyone in chat. What's up, man?
Hey.
Hoping the next Transformer crossover is with Power Rangers, since Hasbro owns both. I think it's bound to happen. I think they're gonna wait for a quiet non-movie or something, and they'll probably look. The way I see it, they're gonna exhaust everything that they need to do with Power Rangers from their Lightning collection, and then we'll probably see some kind of Lightspeed Rescue / Power Rangers Turbo meets Transformers, Megazord, Dinos. Oh, there's so many different things you could do that could cross over with Transformers. Who currently has the rights to Mummies Alive? Oof. I don't know. I do not know about that one. I love Mummies Alive. I have almost every figure. If you want to track down Nefertina, good luck, because she was a UK exclusive and is worth a ton of money today. The girl toys are always tough. This is the story of our lives, but
wasn't she voiced by Cree Summer?
Yes, she was.
Like she was voiced.
Yes, she was.
Aha.
Cree Summers.
Another Canuck.
Cree Summers, I learned recently, has been like voice acting since she was like 13 years old.
Yeah, okay. Do you remember the show Owl TV?
Yes.
She did the intro for that.
Oh,
and she
really?
must have been really young.
Well, here's the thing. She was like the earliest role that I could remember she did was the first Care Bears movie, and that's got to be not that's 1985 if I remember correctly. So she's got to be like 15, 16 because if I remember correctly, she's like 50 right now or 51.
Yeah.
So like. She had to be like 15 years old when she did that role. She played like the main female character, if I remember correctly, like not the human kid. I mean, so like,
okay.
So like she's been voice acting forever.
She's been around for a very, very long time. Done some acting roles. I remember she was on A Different World. She was one of the main characters on that.
Yes.
She appeared in. I know she's really good friends with Lisa Bonet. She did some singing for a while. She did. How was it? What was the name of the song? It would appear. It was always on the radio because we're on. We always had to have Canadian content. Revelation Sunshine. That's the name of the song.
I don't remember that.
If you heard the song, you'd be like, "This sounds super familiar."
Oh yeah, if I hear it, I'll probably you could just hear her Josh voice. Says Hasbro made Mummies alive. Okay, well then, maybe there's still a chance. Get on. Where's my Hasbro Cinematic Universe with Mummies alive and G.I. Joe? We'll do something like that.
Oh, that'd be a little bit difficult to do because I mean, like the new Tom Cruise, The Mummy, failed very horribly.
Yes, it did.
You know, when Mummies Alive came out, it was around the same time as the other Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser and stuff. And then I remember the last Mummies Alive arc they did was Scorpion King related. It came out around the same, like maybe a year later after the actual movie Scorpion King with The Rock.
Ultra Primal asked an interesting question here. If Hasbro does a single 8-figure wave of human characters from the RED line, which is the non-transforming 6-inch line, similar to that of Marvel Legends, which 8 human characters from Transformers histories would you pick? Well, there's Daniel's business answer, and then there's Daniel's what I would personally want to answer. My what personally want to answer would be everything from Master Force. Minerva, Lightfoot, Road King again, because I want Road King, Metal Hawk, all the human characters from Master Force. But obviously, if you charged me to do that and it had to be Hasbro, and it was like you had to do a business answer, of course you're going to do Spike, probably do Daniel with Exosuit, probably do Carly.
Which Spike are you doing?
I'm doing young Spike,
young or old Spike?
I'm doing young Spike, and I'm doing Chip Chase in wheelchair with little rippable B drive disc, floppy disk. Okay. I'm doing probably we could go to Transformers Prime and do the 3 kids because that's something. And most importantly, Sorry.
Yeah.
We need Sorry.
Sorry would be on my list for sure.
See, so Ninjatron says Kicker, but we got like 3 Kicker toys, but at the same time, like, you know, granted, all those Kicker toys have their issues, unfortunately, from long-term stuff. Joseph does a super chat question. JawzD, what is your least favorite headmaster? And buy a camera so we can see his face. Number 1, I'll answer the second part first. JawzD has a beautiful camera and a beautiful face. It's my fault because I don't have the power to have a second window yet. In the very near future, people, everything is going to be upgraded. We're going to have multiple screens and all kinds of stuff. When I'm going to be talking about stuff, I'll be able to put images of toys on the screen, so we'll have references for people. I just want to get a rig upgrade. We're going to have faster internet, better connection, better image quality, and a better camera angle. I hate this angle where I have to look at the screen and then like look back here. So we'll do that. What's your least favorite headmaster, Wendell?
Let's see. Maybe Highbrow?
Yeah,
I don't think I like Highbrow.
I'm with you on that one. Maybe Highbrow also for me.
I mean, like, there's so much creative ones, and Highbrow's like, you know, it's okay.
I know my favorite is for sure Chrome Dome, and I like Brainstorm. And
Brainstorm's pretty cool.
And I don't hate on Hardhead because he's pretty cool. And all the animal ones.
I like all the animal.
The animal ones are all
unique.
unique.
Very nice and cool and creative.
Weird Wolf, Mindwipe, like they're all pretty cool. Like, yeah, I'm with you on that one. And you know what's funny? Highbrow was the one that was left out in the reissue series that they did.
Ooh.
I think, but part of me thinks it's because they're probably going to use Highbrow somewhere else, like the Trademark. Like, one of the best ever movie toys ever made, and it's a non-movie character, like didn't appear in the movie.
Right.
Was Voyager scale. Let me get him because I love this toy so much. I have 2 of them. I did a photo shoot of it recently. This is movie Highbrow. It turns into the lightning.
Oh yeah.
This
I really wanted to get it. I just never got around to getting
working.
That toy, 'cause I love those planes. Those
working
planes are so
engines. Little working. Look at that on both sides. It has the clear cockpit, and then when you put it in robot mode, you could put the fists like this, or you could put the fists like that, so he could have like little wind weapons. Such an amazing mold. And so he has the light piping. You could see he has the light. You put his face mask down, which is a helmet that's based like the World War II helmets. The light piping still works. It's so cool. I
regret not getting that toy.
And so I did a photo shoot of it.
Yeah. I saw it.
And
I know. And if you want to see my face, then go on my Twitter.
Yeah, just go on his Twitter.
There.
I did a photo shoot of it, and then people started messaging me, going like, "Why is this toy so expensive?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? It was a Voyager scale." And then I looked on eBay. This thing goes for $80 now. Supposedly, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. End of wave. Last wave.
Yeah, it was hard to find.
Super tough to get. And I have 2 of them. I bought 2 of them because I bought it once. And I remember messing with them, going like, this thing's amazing. This thing's amazing. I want a second one. So I went out and bought a second one. If I would have known how valuable they would have been, I would have bought a few of them. But honestly, and the mold was later on used. They used it for another character named Power Dive. And then they used it again to make Obsidian for the BotCon box set. Amazing mold. Anyone, if you could get your hands on it, one of the best movie toys ever made, period. That's saying a lot. Some people, I remember someone...
What's the name of that character again?
Highbrow. And you know what's funny? Now, if you look at it, JawzD, someone said to me on my Instagram, they said, this could have been a Bumblebee World War II version of Crosshairs. Think about it.
God,
yeah.
Geez.
Yeah. It's Crosshairs. Think about it. That's pretty.
Phooey.
Yeah, and he has the guns too. Look, he has the guns that you could put anywhere because he has the 3mm pegs. Like, it's Crosshairs, man. I'm telling you, it's such a great toy. I know. Maybe it'll even out the price. You know what? Hopefully, maybe when TFCon starts up again, I'll keep an eye out for you. We'll try to find one. It's really good. It's really good, that one. It was 120 a few years ago. I hope it wasn't a 120 a few years ago.
Oh my! Wow.
What is going on? Okay, that's
wrecked.
Again. This goes back to what I was just saying. End of wave stuff, man. That stuff gets difficult later. Protoman, are you suggesting a Studio Series highbrow based on design? Because all my yes. They won't do it though. They won't do it though because they're so obsessed with movie appearance characters. But I would love it. I would love it if they did. That was such a product of its time because when that came out, that's when we had all those really good scouts too from the movie line. Like they were just nailing it with the movie engineering back in 2009, 2010. Like it was so good. So good. Looking forward to the re-release of Brainstorm. Well, the good thing with the Brainstorm re-release was that was originally a Walgreens exclusive, so that makes it easier for people to pick up now. And it has the better face sculpt, in my opinion, too. So, oh man, $120. That's messed up. That's messed up. Can we go back to 2010 engineering? Well, tell Aaron Archer to kick the door down of Hasbro and go, hey, I'm back in charge again. And then maybe we'll go back to that again. And there's, look, it is what it is. A lot of the choices and the plastic choices and the stuff that are made today, it's beyond the control of even the people that are in charge. It's all money and all kinds of stuff and oil prices and, cost and the toy market and how strong it is today, which isn't as great as it used to be. And I can't even imagine, like, what their numbers are going to be after the end of the big V and everything, and how they're going to say, well, what's going on in the world and how that affected everything too. So, where do we have questions here? I saw one before. I have to scroll back up. If I miss any questions, people just throw it at us. How long have we been going? Oh, we've only been going an hour and a half.
Everyone's freaking out that Aaron Archer's in the chat now.
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron's in the chat. He's always in the chat. He's always chilling around, judging us, shaking his head, going like, these guys. I have a mint on card, Hasbro Titans Return Chrome Dome with the Takara head, short run of a weird variant, I guess. That is very weird because it shouldn't have that head. I guess there was a short run. Aaron Archer, you did an awesome job at Hasbro. I guess if he's still here, he's probably still kicking around. Is there a way? I think there's a way you could get the chat list of people. I don't know, somewhere you could see where everyone is. Participants, mods, toggle, participants. Yeah, Aaron's still here. Aaron's still kicking around somewhere. It's probably just, he has us in the background while he's eating, probably. Protoman, what do you think of our chances of getting a cell-shaded, cartoon-colored Earthrise Optimus Prime? Well, I imagine probably if they ever get around to having to do a Studio Series Optimus Prime, we're probably going to see a repack of the Earthrise one with a new paint scheme. But I think it's going to be more a beat-up Death of Optimus Prime kind of color scheme, not cell-shaded. I could see them revisiting that mold many times, but look, we already got, think about it, we got the original release, we have the there's like a different color scheme one that comes with two Battle Masters, we have the Nemesis one, which is in the spoiler pack. They're probably going to do some kind of other repaint down the line. We have the Shattered Glass one, I think, is coming too. I think they said they're going to do a Shattered Glass one also. So who knows? They're going to milk that mold. That's a good mold. So they're going to milk it. Sleep Convoy, that's another one too. You know?
He's not dead. He's just sleeping.
Yeah. Hasbro is re-releasing ARMS Micron figures from Prime. Do you think there's any chance they'll re-release the first editions? Well, I was pleasantly surprised when they did Breakdown. I think that they really were just doing something for the 10th anniversary of Transformers Prime. What I always say, if something sells very well, they're going to do more of it. So if Breakdown sells very well, they'll do more of that. The one thing that kind of worried me was Breakdown took a couple days to sell out. He did sell out in the end, but he actually took a couple days. So we just really have to know whatever those numbers are. And then if Hasbro goes, hey, Transformer Prime stuff sold well, maybe we'll do more. So how quickly did the Breakdown sell out? How quickly did the whatever the Megatron's name was, how much did it how long did it take for that to sell out? That'll give us an indicator. Would you want to see a murder mystery story of Transformers lore? Yeah, that'd be cool. They kind of did something like that. The Beast Machines episode that debuted Botanica was kind of like this weird, thing. Like if anyone ever saw the old movie Thing.
The Thing?
The Thing, yeah. John Carpenter, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
Like they kind of did that kind of cinematography, kind of like weirdness with a little bit of aliens. So like Alien, the first one. So I would dig that. I always like it when they do standalone episodes of Transformers.
They're like very genre.
Yeah, they're like that. I love that kind of stuff. I really do. I really, really do. Like when they did, there was an episode called Speed Demon of Transformers Prime. It was pretty much like a racing episode, but it was really like almost like Fast and the Furious, and I really liked that. It was a really good episode. Botanica would work in RED. Yeah, that's one. Botanica needs a toy already. Like even third party. I'm surprised third party hasn't stepped up. Like I'm legit surprised that no one has taken a crack at it. I'm surprised when Hasbro did BotBots, and they did all these plant-based BotBots, and at no point they thought, why not just make a little simple Botanica figure, just to have the trademark, just to like go, oh, here's Botanica, now we have the trademark, and now we could later on, maybe in 5 years or 2 years or 4 years, do a Botanica. by Maximal 1984. But yeah, we need a Botanica. We really do. Because Beast Machines doesn't sell. Well, yeah, I will agree. Beast Machines had really bad sales numbers. It was the only time in Transformers history, like outside of G1 because we don't have those numbers, but it was the only time in Transformers history did a price point actually go down. The basic price point in Beast Machines went down $2. And so if you bought Beast Machines Obsidian, I think you paid $7.99. If you bought Robots in Disguise Obsidian, which was the series that came afterwards, it was $6.99 because yeah. So, and it was the same mold, so it's not like the budget was different. What if Big Firebird did a Botanica figure? Well, it would be very interesting to see those coconuts. Let's put it this way. Because that's probably what they would do. They'd be like, she's a plant? Well then. Let's give her some nice flowers. No. Yeah, that's the one that did nice, if you know what I'm talking about. We did a whole review on that a while back, a couple of years ago. An even recent Air Attack Optimus Primal repaint with audio clips ending in drove. Yeah, well, there was a lot of that product. Yo, JawzD, can we get a reenactment of your reaction to that jazz?
Let me see if I could find the Facebook chat that me and Protoman had.
Yeah, it was.
Let's see here. Boom.
I remember I sent it to him like live in the moment.
Scroll up here a little bit.
Jaws Perez said on the stream, "Where's animated 10th anniversary?" You know what? I don't know. Like modern Hasbro is just ignoring animated, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit because animated has so many molds that they could just take, like pre-existing molds, and make new characters. Just finish your Seeker Jets. It would print. It would print money. It would literally print money. You know, take. Here
we go. I think I found it. And I scroll right to the video, and I said, "About goddamn time."
Yeah. Because many times he's always, where are the jazz toys at? Where are the jazz toys at? It's always third party. Where are the jazz?
And I constantly say that they've done the Volkswagen owns Porsche. They've done the Countach that's been done with Lamborghini. They own Lamborghini as well. They've done Bumblebee, and they've done the actual the actual Volkswagen Beetle. I think which character in the Bay movie was
Sideways, who was the Audi.
Yeah, so they actually got that mold. So they were in good terms with Volkswagen Group. So I was just like, it's just a matter of time.
Well,
it's a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time mixed with, ultimately in the end, I'm telling you, this Studio Series figure is going to come out, and you're not going to see the Porsche emblem anywhere on the box. Like they figured out a way to make a not Porsche. So at the end of the day,
because I was just hoping that they would do it, and Porsche gives its blessing, and they have the logo there, just at least for the masterpiece.
The Porsche blessing is going to come when the masterpiece happens. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's when it's the same thing with the Lamborghini brothers, with the Datsun brothers, with Wheeljack and Exhaust.
Yeah, well, with the Datsun brothers, that's like a Japanese company. So I mean, like, they're not going to be like, no, you can't do it.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Yeah, sure.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
That's going to be a lot of love there.
Yeah. What would they want to bury one of their most famous American release sports cars that practically gave birth to their industry. Proto, so did they do a modified Porsche for Jazz sidestepping the license? Yeah, well, what they did, they didn't even really do that. All they did was they took Flero Deary's, let me literally just pull up one sec. Let me get the first ARC book. And let me pull up the character model for Jazz. All in black and white. Wheeljack, Prowl, Ratchet, Jazz. Okay, so essentially what Flero Deary did is he just cleaned it up. And it's just not a Porsche. just like if you actually compare it side by side with the actual Porsche Turbo 938 Le Mans, it doesn't look 100% like this. So, and the reason why he doesn't look 100% like this is that way, when probably even back in the day when Sunbow was doing the cartoon, that they get away with it. And there's actually shots in the cartoon where Jazz doesn't look anything like his Porsche mode.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, mind you, that's just the animation at the time too. But there's times where he looks nothing like it, where he almost looks like a boxy kind of car. I think even there's a scene in the '86 movie when they're jumping out of Unicron's other eye and Jazz is transforming. Like he has like a weird, like he doesn't even look like he has the skirt and the lip anymore of the front of the hood. So what I'm trying to get at with that is, if you actually are very accurate to the cartoon, which is what Studio Series is trying to do, or in this case the movie, you could actually get away with it, because then it doesn't look like a Porsche. It looks like a not Porsche. Aaron Archer could tell the story of Armada Sideswipe, which is, he's a not Skyline. The R32 Nissan Skyline was a super hot car in the early 2000s. One of the most godliest cars of the street racing scene over there, and they turned Sideswipe into one. But they made sure just to change little things here and there so you don't have to pay the license. Another example, Wild Rider, aka X-Brawn from Robots in Disguise Car Robots, he turns into a Mercedes kind of like Jeep or whatever.
SUV.
Yeah, when they brought him over here, essentially, they changed his rear headlights so that it's not 100, and his front headlights so that it's not 100% a Mercedes, so they didn't have to pay any kind of licensing. Like they do little tricks here and there, but they still were able to do the Dodge Viper, and then they actually put in the Super Sideswipe repaint, they put the Dodge Viper logo on the car and on the packaging. So it was, it's a different era, different times.
I think Josh was just super happy. Like, yeah, sure, do it.
Yeah. But again, going back to like the thing with animated, like the first question essentially is that like we need more animated. We like animated. Animated needs.
I mean, enough of those characters made the jump to like different shows, the movie itself. Actual figures and different toy lines and stuff like that. Why not do more with them?
Well, when you think about it, Movie Hound really is just Bulkhead. We'll start with that, and then you have Lockdown, which again pretty much started with animated. So right away you got two right there. All we need now.
And then Lugnut and Lockdown made it over to reveal the Shield toy line.
And then Lugnut, even in a small sense, I have the figure right here, is the female version, granted, named Clobber, but from Cyberverse, So like those characters they made their impact. And I could even argue, like, when you look at Drift, the way Drift is in the movies, yes, there's the Drift character that comes from the comic books and stuff, but I almost, especially his color scheme, I see a little bit of animated Prowl. A little bit, especially the blue, the blue and the dark colors. Like the way that animated Prowl was, that was a very unique take of the character after years of like that police car second in command kind of version, or like strategist, So it was, even the way they did Black Arachnia, where she's Elita 1, like a different origin story. A lot of really cool stuff that just unfortunately just got cut short just because the movies did well. Like the sad truth with animated is like what happened to animated? The movies did well. And then they went in another direction. Like we got to do Transformer Prime. It's the exact same thing.
Well, I mean, that's not the only show that happened to. Like the Avengers cartoon show.
I was just going to say that.
That made it 2 seasons, and then the movies really took off.
Avengers, Earth Mightiest Heroes, amazing cartoon. I think it's easily one of the best Marvel cartoons ever made, including the old X-Men animated series. And they did that cartoon before the Avengers movie came out. The Avengers movie came out, it exploded. It made tons of money, and then they're like, oh, we got to make a cartoon that matches more the movie and less the comic books. And, that's the new Avengers cartoon, which I think was called Avengers Assemble, which was okay, but it wasn't that great. It didn't have the same spirit. Didn't have the same spirit. I know that Ultra Prime was in the chat. We were part of a Avengers Earth's Mightiest Hero thread on Cybertron.ca back in the day. We were always talking about it. Protoman, what's your most anticipated Studio Series 86 figure? Well, I'm not going to count Hot Rod because that's the obvious answer. I'm going to go with Jazz. I'm going to go with Jazz. Jazz looks like, I really want to see the engineering on his backpack and stuff and how they managed to get rid of those wings, because that's going to be really interesting to see using that engineering moving forward for the Masterpiece in the future, because they're going to try to do that for the Masterpiece.
Because I think usually for the most part with Jazz toys, whether it's third party or actual by Hasbro or Takara, they usually kind of keep the wings in. So it's pretty cool to see them without the wings, or just at least an option of.
Do you have
if they keep legs?
Do you have the bust statue of Jazz? The hard
Yes,
hero?
I do.
The one that has the removable wings?
I never took it out the box.
Oh,
so I never actually
hold on.
displayed it.
I'm gonna get my dusty one here.
Is it red? It's the red box, right?
I forget. They were all on clearance. Remember, that's why I sent it to you. So what's interesting with this Jazz is you could have toy accurate, where it's like, oh, it's toy accurate, and then because of magnets, because this is how it works, they're little magnets that hold. You take this off, you take this off, and you take this off, and now you got show accurate. And this was, I forget which company did this. I think this was Hard Hero. No, it wasn't Hard Heroes. I think it was another company that did these. And Big Bad Toy Store just, they were not selling, and so they were on mega clearance. And I remember sending it to JawzD, going like, "You want a cheap Jazz statue?"
I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
But I never actually took it out the packaging. It's still in the packaging. I think I opened it once and just looked at it. I was like, "Oh, it's pretty cool," and then kind of put it back.
But so, like, that was like one of the first ever products to go like, hey, let's do a show accurate Jazz. You know, like, we're actually going to make it a gimmick where you could take off the wings and like it's magnets and stuff. And that was it. And I was always like, you know, just because of the way the engineering is, the wings are always going to be there, because where are you going to put those doors? But then I saw that they figured out a way to engineer it out, and I'm like, okay, now I'm curious. I want to see where those go. Obviously, you know, I'm looking at it now, and I can see it goes on the back. But I really want to have it in person. Like, that's the one thing. Like, I'm not big on toy reviewers, because I really like to have the figure for the first time in my hands and really experience it for the first time that way. And, like, you know that Jazz is gonna get a stepper repaint. You know it's gonna get a stepper repaint. They're gonna put it with a battle master, so he'll have a target master, and it'll be so cool. It'll be so stinking cool. You have no idea. So like that I'm down for that. Like Jazz easily, I'm the most excited. And he probably has the coolest background too. He has like the little moon base background, which I think looks really cool. But yeah. What's your most anticipated outside of Jazz, let's say?
Oh.
So who's your second?
What else did they have? Dang,
they had Cup, Blur, Scourge, Grimlock, and Hot Rod.
What did Cup looks more more accurate now?
It's more accurate, and he comes with Energon goodies, and he has the gimmick that his limbs could come off, so he could get eaten up by the squid.
Oh no!
And because Hot Rod comes with a welding hand, so you could do the scene where it's like you left a piece out. It's like all the Dino burn dim-wittery, you left a piece out.
Is this a brand new blur, or is this like?
No, it's a new blur. Honestly, Wendell, it's a new blur, but you won't like it. You won't like it. It's not as nice as the Titan Returns one.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying
to. Hold on a second.
A lot of people are just. You're gonna see an image of it, and you'll be like, "Yeah, what's up with the kibble?" It's kind of disappointing.
Let me see how Cup looks.
The Legends scale, the Legends release. Titans Returns blur. I still think is the best blur toy we've gotten thus far, outside of the Generations one based off of Casey Collar's design. I love that one. I have it here on my desk. I always keep it up on my desk. I love this blur.
I don't know. Maybe Scourge looks pretty cool.
Scourge is cool because I like that he's a Voyager, and they managed to engineer a lot of the cool little gimmicks in there. Like he's able.
I mean, for me, like Grimlock is the Masterpiece. Grimlock is like
Oh yeah.
real one.
Yeah.
So anything else that comes after, I'm
Yeah.
like, sure. Or if you need your new
If you need a
version of
Grimlock, but you
that's-
can't
that
afford
can
that
afford,
one.
then sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna hate on anybody for that.
Well, that's how I always feel. Is I feel that, you know, like we said at the beginning of the podcast, like I feel that Masterpiece really is kind of pricing itself out from a lot of fans. So this is an alternative for them. You know, it's a lot cheaper alternative.
But I would say Scourge. I'd
So
probably say
Scourge it
I do like the old deluxe Scourge, but you know this one's looking pretty cool.
Well, this one's very show accurate or movie accurate. We have here Protoman. What about future waves of Studio Series 86 thoughts? What characters would you like to see most besides Blaster, Perceptor, Devastator? Who apparently those aren't happening. They'll happen. All of them will happen. Sooner or later, they're going to have to do a Perceptor trademark. Sooner or later, they'll have to do a Blaster. Sooner, like Devastator, that might be a little more of a tougher one. Like they'd more easier off just re-release the Supreme class one, like the old Combiner Wars toy. But I would like to see. Well, I mean, we just got RC, and I wasn't happy with that RC, so maybe they'll have to revisit it one day. Just give us a good Galvatron already. We haven't had a good Galvatron toy in a very long time. Who else would be good?
I'd say Wreck-Gar. Maybe
Yeah,
Wreck-Gar.
Wreck-Gar I could see too happening because they could have that background piece of Planet Junk. That would do very well. Wreck-Gar would be really cool. You know, a nice bulky Wreck-Gar. Maybe he comes with a little TV he could take out of his chest, you know? That'd be really cool. Nice little gimmick. Who else would be cool too to do? Trying to think of like you know, Springer would be kind of cool, but I mean the Siege toy pretty much already did a really good job.
Yeah, exactly. I would have said Springer too. I'm like, we already have.
Yeah, the Siege one is pretty good already. I mean, all you would be doing is giving it maybe a slightly more accurate color scheme, but that's really about it. I don't know. You know what? Like characters that died in the movie that I like. Give me Brawn. I just like Brawn as a character. You know what I mean? Like Brawn's always been a person. Give me an Ironhide that. But we just got an Ironhide, so it's like, you know, give me an Ironhide.
We have an Ironhide at home.
We have an Ironhide at home, but that one has a hole in the chest. You know, such heroic nonsense.
You don't even play with your Ironhide anymore. No, I love my Ironhide.
Yeah. Let's see, Blitzwing. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah, we haven't really. Yeah, Blitzwing hasn't really gotten a good show accurate toy yet in a long while. So Blitzwing could be one. There's a few. Like it's they're not coming to me right now, but like there's quite a few that could probably, you know, like. I mean, the Dinobots are kind of a given. It's, you know, and at the same time, it's like, you know, do you want to have the other Quintesson characters? Do you want to have the Sharkticons? I mean, there's rumors that a Gnaw is going to be coming. So, we'll see for sure. I'm looking at my toys right now trying to think of others, but I feel that they'll get around to everybody sooner or later. Sooner or later, we're going to get everybody. Same thing, like, do you want another Astro Train? Do you want it to be huge? You know, like, it's you know, see someone said here King Starscream, you know, like we already got like a really good Starscream. We have the Masterpiece one that's coming out soon, another Masterpiece Starscream.
Yeah.
So like, you know, do they want to do a King Starscream already? Who knows? Like, we'll see. Daniel in Exosuit, that supposedly is going to be coming with Dinobot Slag out from the rumors. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens with that. Again, it's funny, we just got revealed the new ones and already we're like, what's the next thing? Like that's the thing with Transformer fans, and I don't want to knock Transformer fans, but it's like the second we get something new, it's like, now what's the next thing? Like, what's the next thing? It's like we gotta stop and breathe, guys. You know, you gotta just enjoy, you know, your little McDonald's Transformer once in a while, you know, and just that I'm the kind of person that, like, especially when it comes to video games, like I'm always like a year behind. Like, I always, like, just play old games. And I'm kind of the same thing with a lot of Transformers. Like, sometimes I'll pick up stuff, and I won't really mess with it until much later and really get to enjoy it. But, you know, there's so much. Oh, like the Insecticons with a crushed bombshell head. You know? Not bombshell,
I'm surprised they don't do, like, a
Kickback.
Starscream, but, like, he's dead.
Yeah, like a crumbling Starscream, you know?
Crumbling Starscream, or, like, here's a Starscream, but he's made out of dust.
Yeah. Which original character from Cyberverse would you like most to see in the next Transformers cartoon? Well, Wild Wheel was really cool. Like, it's such a shame he came so late in the cartoon, because he was really interesting. He's like like Blondie, like the man with no name kind of character.
Oh yeah, that character was really cool, and that toy is very fun too.
Yeah, and the other one is he was the new character, Thunder Howl, who pretty much really is Silverbolt in a lot of ways. He really is Beast Wars Silverbolt. But I mean, I could kind of see him showing up in other places, but then he really just is Silverbolt. Who else was really cool? That was like a unique character. Again, Clobber, but that's really just a female Lugnut. And then Shadow Striker, who's not really a new character per se, but just using that trademark game and creating a new character. Shadow Striker's another one we might see more of in the future. I just want more Cyberverse, so we could I feel that series ended too quickly, and now we have 2 TV movies coming, so hopefully we'll get more content out of that. Yeah, we'll see. Like, same thing like Blur. I found that Blur didn't get a good toy. I understand, like, spoiler, but Blur dies, like, in his first appearance. But, like, he's one of those characters that they didn't give him a good toy. They actually, Blur's Cyberverse toy, he does have one, is they took the Robots in Disguise 2.0 toy and just repainted it and re-released it. So it's not even accurate to how he looks in the show. He looks more like Blur in the show. He looks like his IDW design, and I really like that design, so I would have liked a Cyberverse toy of it. The DJD, yeah, like Tarn, he's in the last episode. Why don't we get a toy of him? We'll see. Again, that's something where we'll see what happens with those TV movies, if they want to have product that's supplemental with it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, everyone, Clobber has 1 eye, Lugnut has 5. Really? I'd have to get the Lugnut toy. Ugh. Almost fell out of my seat there. Can't even see it. Really? He has 5 eyes. Am I going crazy?
What?
Where's General Techno? Is he in the chat? He would know that better than me. It's his favorite character. I can't even see it. It's too dark because he's a dark purple plastic. It is true. Oh, okay.
Rick Randy says, remember everyone, Clobber has 1 eye and Lugnut has 5? What?
I guess so. 4 on each side. Okay. You know what? I got a better idea. Where is Allspark Almanac? Silly me. I'm not going to pull out the toy. I could just get the Allspark Almanac. Oh, I'll be damned. He's right. Look at that. I don't know if those are eyes per se. I guess maybe they're like little lights on the side, but
because his eye doesn't, his mono eye doesn't like move around.
Oh, here they even have like a shot of just the head, right there. I don't know. I do not know. But then one could argue then, when we're on the topic of animated, that Blitzwing has maybe 6 pair of eyes. but
fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, wait, Blitzwing has.
Well, he has a visor.
5, no?
Visor. Then he has the monocle eye, and I'm showing it on the screen.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The monocle eye, doesn't that mess it up a little bit? And
You know what?
It's another mono eye.
I'm gonna have Derek on the show in the future. I'll bring it up. I'll be like, how many eyes? Oh, Derek says they're eyes. Okay, so there it is. That's the end of that answer. Okay, so there's 2 on each side. Funny. I never noticed. I never noticed that. Well, thank you, Quick Randy. Wendell has 3 eyes. He keeps his 3rd eye closed at all times. What was he trying to say? He's tension on or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep my mind closed, baby.
If it ever opens, the world is in absolute danger. You're like Black Bolt or something, you know. If Wendell was Black Bolt, the whole world would be destroyed. One laugh, it would be done.
Hi, everyone.
Why wasn't GoBots popular even though it was on shelves first before Transformers? A lot of things. GoBots didn't have a strong comic book presence. You have to understand comic books were still a big deal back in 1984. at the end of the day, the cartoon was not as cool. It was done by Hanna-Barbera, and the reality is, and I know this is sacrilege as someone who loves GoBots, Transformer toys were more interesting. You know, GoBot toys have their own charm, and the cartoon that they were originally based from, Machine Robo, is really badass. But at the end of the day,
didn't translate over here.
Yeah, it didn't get translated over here. It wasn't brought over. It was a little gory anyway, so they would have had to edit it quite a bit.
Oh wait, Protoman, what's this? Oh my goodness, it's John Cena! Da, 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 da. You shut your mouth about GoBots! Da, 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 da.
But the point is that they did do well. They did make money, but the difference is that it just didn't do well as Transformers. Transformers was just selling way better. GoBots was, look, the way that I look at GoBots is Pokemon was huge. Digimon did well too. It's not that Digimon it's not that Digimon didn't do well. It just wasn't as big as Pokemon. And it's kind of the same thing. GoBots did well. It just didn't do as well as Transformers. And the difference is Tonka had a lot of financial problems in other areas. I'm sure Aaron could probably, remark on that too. And ultimately, in the end, Tonka got bought by Hasbro. So it's, GoBots, look, it did well. It had a good international presence because it was called Robo Machines in other countries. And those actually did have comic books and stuff, but that's a different story. And, its origins come from Machine Robo, so there was plenty of molds to pull from forever. Because long after GoBots was done, Machine Robo still kept going. There still was toys coming from Machine Robo, so they could brought over the Machine Robo Battle Hacker stuff they could have brought over, and then CG Robo, which was the series after that. Like, they could have done a whole bunch of stuff, but it wasn't there. And then not to mention Machine Robo Rescue, but that's a whole other story. Does 2001 RID's intro have more meme energy than the Cybertron intro? I think both intros are terrible, and you should watch the Japanese ones. They're both very low budgety, I don't know.
Just taking clips from the show, smashing them together.
Clips from the show, do the Transformer theme, I don't know. Like Car Robots, which is Robots in Disguise's intro. JawzD knows this. I swear by that theme. So, and he knows too
You're
well.
Such a dork.
And the Cybertron intro, which the Japanese version of Galaxy Force, both versions, which is Calling You, and what's the other one? We just call you Toran Sufoma, and the other Ignition. Ignition was the other one. It's Calling You and Ignition. Those intros are amazing. I used to do little clips of them, and I would post them on Twitter just because the animation was so gorgeous on those. And the music's good, too. So, I like those. Protoman, we may see some GoBot Earthrise repaints since one of the Odyssey packs is Botropolis. Maybe. That would be cool. I have no problem with that. They've done GoBot homages in the past many times. They own the rights to a lot of those names. So, if you could give me a Leader 1 that's a repaint of one of the Jets, sign me up. I'll buy it in a heartbeat. When they did that Mask Micromaster box set, I bought it day one. It's on Amazon right now. I bought it right away. I didn't even think twice. So, if they do a GoBots one, like here, I'm just going to give people a quick shot right here. One sec. How do I flip the camera around? Like I have a whole bunch of carded GoBots that just line the top of my walls here. And then I have my huge GoBot collection in the G1 display back there. So I love GoBots to death. And Machine Robo I love even more. But it's just... It didn't do well when compared to Transformers. That's the only reason why it fizzled. And again, Tonka wasn't doing well in general. Kids weren't buying, pickup trucks and die-cast cars anymore. It was the era of action figures. Kids were buying Ninja Turtles by the time I think Tonka went under. I think Tonka went under in 88 or 89, and that's when Ninja Turtles were really in its prime. Protoman grabbed that camera so quickly he scared the crap out of me. I'm sorry.
Come here, you.
Come here, you. Well, what's gonna be worse
it's like a Slim Jim commercial.
Yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim.
what my Slim Jim looks like when I'm opening up the box. Hey, come in here.
What's sad is because I'm going to be upgrading the camera quality and everything, and it's still going to be like I'm still going to be able to grab it and move it around the room. So I apologize in the future because it's going to get scarier. Holy crap! I just watched Cyberverse Blur's death. Didn't think the show would kill off something. Yeah, and it's funny because he wasn't supposed to get killed off, and then they kind of decided the last second to do it so it would have impact with the cosmic rust. So pretty cool that they did it.
Oh yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Do you think there should be a Generation Selects line for Studio Series figures? Now you're splitting hairs. That's so much product. So much product. For example, Studio Series Jazz into other characters. Well, see, I think they'll do repaints. They'll just take the movie mold and put it in Studio Series. That's not Studio Series, Generation Selects. It doesn't have to be Studio Series. Excuse me. Generation Select Studio Series. Like, God, that would be such a messy name. Like, oh my God. Anyways, they'll do it. They're going to do repaints, 200%. If there's, look, Hasbro doesn't waste molds. They don't. They don't. If they're going to make a mold of something, they're going to repaint it, especially when it's Studio Series stuff. They're not going to spend all that time making a brand new Jazz mold to not then repaint it into something afterwards. They're going to do it. It's the same thing like with a Seeker Jet. It's the same thing. That Grimlock is probably going to get 1 or 2 repaints. You'll see. Something down the line.
Reduce, reuse, retool.
Exactly. Repaint, remold. Yeah. I wish they still use Siege molds today. I need Generation Select Iron Fist. He fits around Hound's mold and Hound himself. Look, you might see a lot of those Battle Masters again. They keep reusing them too, so you might see more of them in the future. And the modulators like Iron Fist and stuff. What should the next Generation Selects figure be? I don't know. There's only 1 million repaints that we could do from all the stuff that we got. You know, there's so, like, just, I don't know. Here, I'll just throw one at random. So we have, let's go with, see, I'm looking at toys and I'm like, oh, they already did that. Because I looked at RC, I'm like, I looked at RC and I'm like, oh, paired, oh yeah, wait, they already did that.
Yeah, it's super hard, man.
It's like, okay, let's take Earthrise. Man, see, I'm like, man, they already did that. They already did that. They already did that. I'm like, Ironhide. Oh wait, already did Ratchet.
Like if you're able to find old episodes of Transformer Slag, Canadian Slag, and we're saying like, Hasbro won't do this because it's a little bit tricky, or Hasbro won't do that because the engineering isn't there. They've done it. They've done it all. They've already done most of everything.
A lot of the stuff that also used to be during a time where it's like, oh, they won't do that, it's too obscure, or they won't do that character, it's too weird. Everything's been done practically. I always joke, all we're missing is like Signal Lancer, which was like the Transformer Light Post, which was an actual character in Galaxy Force. They never made a figure of him. They never made a decent figure of Botanica, so we don't have that. And what else are we missing really at this point? Some
maybe a new Minerva? But I mean,
no, but but I'm saying like they've done Minerva homages. There's a third party Minerva, but Minerva did get a toy in the end. She got.
No, but what I was talking about is Hasbro doing it.
Oh well, no,
that's what I mean. That's like all the stuff we said Hasbro wouldn't do. They've kind of done most of the stuff they wouldn't do or right now. And now we're having a hard time of what haven't they done.
I would like it if Hasbro did Minerva. I would like it if they just did the reissue of the original toy, just so that market could be evened out. And that's coming from someone who owns it. You can literally see it in the background. I'm pointing at it with my figure. There's my original Generation 1 $2,000 Minerva figure. Okay? I want that to get reissued so people can enjoy it. You know what I mean? So it'll even out the market, and then that Minerva won't be $2,000. Look, Stepper back in the day was a $500, $600 G1 toy. Then he got reissued twice. Goodbye market, Mm-hmm. So, like, I want people to be able to enjoy it. Black Zarek, see? Bruce said Black Zarek there. That's another one I'd love it. You can't see Black Zarek. He's more lower. But Black Zarek's one where that GPS is brutal. I just recently, I did a deal with someone. I bought a guy's toy collection last week. and in his collection he had Armada Optimus Prime, which has tons of GPS in it, but his Armada Optimus Prime has no GP, like it's not broken yet. So like that's going to be something you'll see at the next Protoman parts party, a minty Armada Optimus Prime. But like GPS with older toys, if they could get reissued with better plastic, like Beast Wars Grimlock, G2 Electro, like a lot of those. Randy,
Beast Wars, Beast Wars, what was it? Transmetal Megatron.
Oh my God, I went through 3 of those. 3 of those I went through. Oh my!
Transformers, no.
I bought my first Megatron. Went to go pack it up. It broke. Damn. Yeah. Then I buy a second one from eBay. Shows up in the mail. Broken. Mm-hmm. Then I found a third one in a garage sale, perfect condition, left it in robot mode forever, and that's the way it stays. I have the Japanese version that doesn't suffer from GPS, but it's not show accurate, the colors, but I think I did a photo shoot of that on my Instagram. Oh my God, Machine Wars Thundercracker. My Machine Wars Thundercracker is still broken to this day. I haven't replaced it yet. That one, it's like a flip changer with GPS. That's just great. Like Randy. It's like, oh great. That's going to go so well. With ball joints made out of like hard, like like Werther's Originals, like that caramel that's just that just crumbles. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's hard, but it breaks like nothing. That's what it is. It's so bad, so bad. All right, guys, we've been going for 2 hours. We're gonna do some final listener questions, super chat questions and stuff like that. Once again, thank you to Symbiote Studios for sponsoring the stream, as well as providing some gifts, some prizes, and everything. So once again, symbiotestudios.com. I'll actually post the link too, might as well at the same time. symbiotestudios.com. If you go to their website, symbiotestudios.com, and you use the promo code PROTOMAN, you will get $5 off your next order. It's in the checkout, so pretty much pick the stuff that you want. And then put in promo code PROTOMAN, PROTOMAN. 1 sec, I'm just trying to get back here. There we go. And yeah, and you can get a lot of cool stuff. The plush, the t-shirts, they have a whole bunch of cool t-shirts. Hopefully I'll have more stuff in the mail from them next week to show you guys. They also do video game stuff, so you have Shovel Knight merchandise, a lot of cool stuff there. Definitely check them out, but a lot of cool Hasbro merchandise and more Hasbro merchandise to come. Definitely check it out. Promo code PROTOMAN. Get $5 off your order. And again, thank you for the gift to give to our listener who won, which was, hold on, I'm just going to pull him up again, Troy Smith, who won. So congratulations to him. And any other questions? Do you think the last night would have benefited from Nitro Zeus being Lugnut instead? Well, the only way it would have benefited was they wouldn't have had to do Nitro Zeus as a trademark. They would have just had Lugnut again. That's the only benefit they would have got.
I don't think Lugnut is Nitro Zeus.
Yeah, me neither. And they killed him off. They killed him off.
Yeah.
So what, what's the point? What would be the point of introducing a character, giving that name, all of that stuff, just to kill him off? Oh wait, Bay movies. Silly me.
Well, it seemed like the movie. What was it called again? Suicide Squad kind of influenced a bunch of other movies after it came out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they were just like, oh, this character and this character.
So we have a super chat question from the Podski. He wants to know, what is your opinion on the pics of leaked Transformer figures? Are those just morally dubious reviews as stolen toys? So there's different kinds of leaked images and stuff. The toy reviewers that have early toys, those are stolen bought product. Those are bought from factory workers, although one of the reviewers is right in the country where the factory is, so he's probably doing the stealing himself. But those are stolen product. When we had the initial leak of Jazz and all the Studio Series stuff, that wasn't stolen figures. That was from what's called Safety Korea. In Korea, they have an extremely well put together website called safetykorea.kr. And what it is essentially is every single toy that's in Korea You could go to their website and find out if has sharp edges, if it's dangerous for kids, if it has batteries, if it has magnets to be swollen. But the problem is Safety Korea was doing such a good job, they released their images way too early. So, but this website has everything, like has Power Ranger toys and everything. So it was just, that wasn't really an elite, like a stolen toy leak. That was just more Safety Korea doing their job and not getting the memo from Hasbro to release the photos early. So that was that.
To not release the photos.
Release the photos. Yeah. So that was just more a mistake, and it's funny because it happened like literally the day before we learned everything. So it was more just bad timing, if anything. Look, in my opinion, is I don't like it when stuff gets stolen. You know, because even if it doesn't affect me, you know, it affects Hasbro. It affects the people who work at those factories, because if stuff constantly gets stolen, Hasbro will change the contract with that factory and put it in another factory, and all the people who work there lose their jobs. You know what I mean? And it's not cool for nobody. So it's just it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. I feel that you should buy
they either lose their job or to lose that contract, and it's not as much work as before. You know?
Exactly.
So.
It's not cool. When I'm going to do my segment with Aaron Archer, when we're going to do it. We're going to touch up more on it, because Aaron worked at Hasbro during a lot of that stolen stuff. Like it was in 2009, 2010, it was crazy. And the thing that bothers me more than anything with that is that stuff gets stolen and people make entire careers off of that stolen product. Like they launch their careers. I don't want to name names. I know people are going to
name names.
I don't
do it.
I don't. But I know people are going to name, because I always say I'm not going to name names, and then people name them anyways, which is like, ugh. But a lot of people started their careers on that stuff. You know what I mean? Where if they would have not had that stolen product, they probably would have not had that spotlight on them. And so it's a shame. See, yeah, guys, don't say the names. Don't.
Please don't.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to single out those guys. I never intended to single out those dudes, but I don't appreciate what they're doing. I really don't. You don't get respect from me, I'll tell you that much. Like it's something that's just, you're not going to impress me because you're stealing from factories and paying off factory workers to steal product. And how it even could hurt Hasbro, and people need to understand this too, and I never talked about this. A lot of times these items that get stolen from factories, sometimes they're 6, 7, 8 months out from retail release. And Hasbro sometimes, not always, but sometimes, they don't trademark the name of a character until 3 months out. So if a DevCon looking toy gets leaked out, and they didn't trademark the DevCon name yet. They were going to, but they want to wait, because look, when you trademark the name, you got 4 years. So why would you trademark it a year in advance and waste a year? You know what I mean? So I'm worried that, like, you know, and this used to happen way back in the day when they used to do the BotCon panels where they would show the new product and you were allowed to take photos and everything. They did that for a reason, because if stuff got leaked out, what if Mattel goes, oh, Hasbro is going to be doing a DevCon? Well, why don't we trademark the name before they get to do it? That's it. You know, so it also could hurt Hasbro in a micro situation. So at the end of the day, guys, I'm not a fan of it. I understand you guys. You guys have no stake in the game. You get to see the product early, but it still sucks. See, like here, if you steal prototypes, then the CEO from Symbiote can't afford his solid gold Tesla Cyber. Okay. Look, it's a trickle down thing, you know. Just kidding. He drives a Prius. Okay, well there you go. It's just at the end of the day, look. You could argue like, oh well, you know, they should pay the factory workers more, and then they wouldn't be stealing stuff. I don't know, man. People get paid very good here in America, and they still steal stuff, you know. So it doesn't really make a difference at the end of the day. Just don't do bad things. That's what I'm not a religious person, but I'm a person that kind of believes in karma a little bit, and I feel that kind of stuff always boomerangs back to you. So I'm not a fan of that. Proto Galvatron will come with Kingdom or in Studio Series 86. I think Galvatron's going to be in Kingdom. He's in all that control art of Kingdom. He's in it, so I think he's going to be in Kingdom. I would prefer it if he was in Studio Series, but I think he's going to be in Kingdom. But then he'll also get a whole bunch of repaints, which will be pretty cool too. We'll probably get like a Energon repaint, like the Energon colors of Megatron there. Oh, you can't see because of the glare, but it'd be pretty cool. But yeah, guys, that's it more or less. Thank you again, JawzD, for coming to join us on this monumental occasion. Thanks again to everyone who came. Thanks again to all the people who did super chat and that support the podcast. Once again, if you want to support the podcast, we have both a Patreon, patreon.com/Protoman, or you can hit that join button at the bottom here and you could join us through there. Yeah. Thanks again, everyone, man. You know, like, look, I'm upgrading my rig of my computer and the webcam and everything. All of that money is coming from the money I got from you guys. So this is all money that I'm putting straight back into making the podcast a better product for everybody. So we'll be able to see JawzD's face and Aaron Archer's and everyone's in the future next to mine. And then you could realize just how much better looking they are than me. So, but yeah. Thanks again, JawzD. Thanks again, everyone, for coming. And as always, like I always say, roll out.